physics is going to have to be the quote-unquote religion of tomorrow. If it isn't, you're fucked. Totally and absolutely.
All right. We're back. We are back with another episode. The Cult of Dangerous Gentlemen are live and direct from the absurdity of the simulation. How you fellas doing this week?
Stupendous. I'm great. I'm glad I don't have any beef with Jay Prince.
Yeah, having beef with Jay Prince might be a bad idea if you follow the rules of hip hop and stuff like that. I mean, if you're just a regular person, regular
If you
civilian,
snitch to the police, send everybody to jail.
exactly. Just be like, cops, tune in to. He's live on Twitter right now, and I'm pretty sure he's threatening people, so you could just pick him up, take him right to jail.
Listen, he was in Clubhouse with Whack 100, and he specifically said I could never step foot in Texas again, or he would do me bodily harm. This is clearly a threat. I need you guys to address it. Send everybody to prison.
Oh, yeah.
Start snitching.
It seems like the
Save the
easiest thing to
community.
do. It seems like the simplest thing to do. Why wouldn't you just send everybody to jail? But if you live by the functionality of hip hop and criminality and, you know, unapologetic criminality especially, if that's your lifestyle, if that's what you're into, if you align yourself with the mafia and shit like that, then yeah, you might have a serious problem dealing with a person like this because your options are very limited. Very limited. With this, I mean, to be a career criminal that we've been hearing about all this time and actually still be free and not be in jail, I mean, he's got to be at least a little bit smart, right?
Listen, as Charleston White has taught us, as he said in a recent interview, the reason why gang members don't deal with them is because he tells them he'll call the police. So as a civilian, I'm calling the police on you.
I feel like it's like a magical circle of protection. I think that's the best thing you can do as a hip hop dude is just announce it loudly and often. Hey, I plan on telling everyone. I plan on telling on everyone. Please leave me the fuck alone. And it's worked for Charleston White. He hasn't been touched.
Exactly.
It's working out for him. So I think that needs to be the game plan. Instead of worshiping and honoring people that will not put murderers away in prison and basically let them be bullies and dictate how business is going to be done. You know how many people probably had a great business acumen? Young black entrepreneurs who are like, listen, we're going to invest the money. We're going to flip it. I got a great business plan. And some dude just came along with a pistol and was like, no, we're going to be running this. We're the new management team. Yeah, but you guys don't know anything about the paperwork or the 501 whatever and how to register and all that. You guys have no idea. Like I just graduated from community college and business school. I know this. Yeah. But we'll murder you. So we're in charge now. I don't think this is the best option long term for financial growth for people that are up and coming in the community. But unfortunately, those are the people that have been in charge of the business. Did Suge Knight have great business acumen? I don't know. But I know he got a lot of people to sign shit by holding them over balconies. So yeah, we're going to get a check of that. We're going to get a chunk.
If it works, it works. If it works, it works. This dude pretty much just openly threatened a rapper. Well, I can't
multiple times.
I can't say openly threatened. I would
that
say
is an open threat. I'll say it. I've seen every mafia movie you could think of. That is an open-ended, underhanded, try to be secret, but you know, if you're part of the circle, you know what it means. It's like kissing the guy in the cheek. That's the death kiss. That's the death kiss.
I don't know, dude. I mean, he just said, don't put me in a position to have to defend myself.
What does that mean? You can't just say, don't put me in a position to defend myself. You can't just say, I don't want to defend myself.
He did say, I don't want no trouble. He said, I don't want no trouble. He did say
From who? The police?
Yeah,
that's
probably.
what it
That's
sounds
probably what
like, bro.
Hey, like I said,
like.
I said it before, I'm going to say it again. I'll just add one little caveat because I do want to exercise some compassion. I'm just going to say, I don't care about any of it until at least 2 more people die or they publicly apologize and make amends with each other.
With a sensual hug. A hug that lasts way too long, or where there's maybe some neck sniffing.
At least share an ice cream cone.
And some whispering in the air.
They got their camp, the Atlanta camp, and the Houston whatever camp needs to get together and pass around the ice cream cone blunt, and everybody just needs to lap it up, practice their pussy eating game, and partake in the peace cone. And I'd be fine
the
with it.
peace cone. I think somebody should replace, like, you know how they used to do like Freaknik and stuff like that, those Black Bike Week or something everybody comes to. You should have like a ice cream social for for all the tough guys, all the gangsters. Once a year they get together and you just have all kind of ice cream vendors. They bring different flavors and sorbets and shit, all kind of fancy frozen yogurts.
The ice grill social.
The ice grill social. So it's barbecue and ice cream.
Get some grills and some ice cream.
It's the grill and we got ice cream, bro. So yeah, y'all should all get together at least once a year, share some ice cream. I feel like that would take a lot of the tensions down. You could, handle all kinds of knots get untied. Everybody will be happy. I think the murder rate would go down probably. Ice cream social.
Absolutely. And their women would never be more satisfied.
That's true.
Just think about all of the mouth exercise you're getting.
Right. All of that sexual tension you built up at the ice cream social, you're gonna come home and wield it against your lady.
Your tongue is gonna be. It's like when you run with ankle weights and you take them off and you're like, damn. I've been lapping up ice cream all weekend at the ice grill social. This pussy's never been easier to eat.
The ice grill social. As funny as it sounds, I feel like it's needed. It's required.
It's absolutely.
Listen, we're gonna make it happen. Go to Houston. We're gonna get a little crew together. Charleston White obviously is gonna be involved with it. And we're gonna have grills and ice cream.
Look, dangerous youths that are stereotyped by civilians immediately make themselves more approachable. It's the compendium worthy. They're immediately safer by passing around the ice cream. It's better for public relations. It's better for peace to lower the crime rate. And I just have a vision of dangerous looking youths with do-rags and Timberland boots and ice grills and just screw faces and mean mugging. And they look angry, but they're just lapping it up, just passing it around, standing in a cipher, talking shit, freestyling, and lapping up the cone when it gets to them. Lap two and pass, just passing it around. You know?
Damn.
It's beautiful. There's no downside to this.
Look at that. We've been 5 minutes on the air and we're already solving murderous thug, mafia impersonation. People have already died in this situation, and it seems like more people might die. And it's already fixed. All you guys need is an ice cream social. Just calm down, relax. These guys got money. They're popular. This one Jay Prince has been, he's been known in hip hop for 2 decades, more than that, right? For a long time.
Since the beginning, right? Might as well.
I mean, and I'm just to be fair.
Rap a lot.
Yeah.
To be fair, he's sort of known for, like you said, taking people's money and being a threatening, possibly murderous individual. It's not like he's been known for any real respectable shit. That's just like hip hop operates a lot on prison rules. So if you're just the biggest, baddest, even if you're a killer, you're a murderer, as long as you can handle yourself and other people are afraid of you, then people feign respect for you. Like, yo, he murdered 11 people. It's like, wow.
Can you imagine all this thuggery started because Biggie said so? What was that line with the polka dots? And he was making fun of like the rap of the decade going on at the time.
Kwame. Yeah. Your style is played out like Kwame and them fucking polka dots.
And that was the death of like poppy rap.
True.
Like with just all these colors and all this stuff and just.
But to be fair, it was corny.
No.
I don't.
We can't do that.
I'm sorry. Listen, I'm just being
honest.
That. I don't want to listen to Father MC. I don't want to listen to Heavy D.
Come on, Heavy D?
No.
Heavy D, bro.
Heavy D was never one of my. Just like Kid and Play, there's like a certain lane where it's just when I was a tiny kid,
it's not dangerous.
I liked it.
Yeah, when we were kids,
but as
I'm younger than you, so it was like for me. It was listen,
MC another Hammer, bad creation. Belle Biv DeVoe.
MC Hammer dance. I wanted the pants, but I was like of that age where it's like, oh, he's cute, he's rapping. You know what I mean?
When you get older and you're just trying to appreciate the art,
after that.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to listen to Wu-Tang and then go back and then listen to Heavy D. I'm sorry. Yeah. It just and there's kind of and Pete Rock and CL Smooth were like kind of. I felt like they were kind of in the middle between those two worlds. Like they weren't like on the super hard shit, but they weren't on the super soft dancey shit either.
Right.
Their sound was kind of like right in the middle.
Is a Tribe Called Quest like in that middle too? in that middle group, like De
No,
La Soul and all that?
Tribe Called Quest is Hotep rap.
Okay, okay, okay,
That's the original Hotep rap.
okay.
I gotta say, it also too, it was kind of bohemian hippies. You know, I feel like too, like they were the first, they were the first group where like there was a like there tended to be a type. There's like a type of white audience for hip hop.
Yeah.
Like and there was like a certain point where you'd have to be full Wogan and kind of leaning on the you kind of want to be violent side. But Tribe was like a group where it's like you didn't have to kind of fit in that lane. You could just really appreciate it because of their level of creativity. Like in the way they would approach topics sonically, the way they were hooking samples together. Like if you ever go and study the low end theory and what they did with 12 seconds of sampling time to make that album as musical sounding as it's a masterpiece. Yeah. So there's so many other ways to like to appreciate Tribe, but they weren't completely soft. You know, you got a crew, I got one too. They're called the Brooklyn Zoo. And I'm pretty sure when Q-Tip got punched in the face, there was like 300 members of Zulu Nation ready to fuck somebody up. So, but they just didn't glorify the violence. That's when hip hop had like this perfect spot where it's like we acknowledge the violence, but we don't celebrate the violence. It's still cool to say stop the violence. We're not just completely minstrel showing the absolute worst aspects of violent culture. Like after that, it was a wrap. But I feel like Native Tongues just came in at the high watermark of just the golden age of hip hop. When the sampling was the most creative, where the styles were the most diverse, where people were getting money, but not enough money to where they would just do anything for the money. Like, but as the 90s progressed, you could slowly see it going away. And no disrespect to 50, but once he came through, it was just over. Cash Money and 50 Cent, they just completely changed the approach, and it was never the same after that. And then after that, if you kind of harkened back to that golden age era, well, that was your niche. Where before it was like, that's just what it is. And everybody's kind of in their own lane. And all this diversity is here and different styles and different approaches to music. And it's all welcome and it's all in there. Like you could listen to the Alcoholics. You could listen to Showbiz and AG. You could listen to Razkaz. You could listen to Exhibit. You could listen to Wu-Tang. And you could listen to Mos Def. And none of these people sounded exactly the same. They didn't approach topics the same. Their flow wasn't the same. The way that they crafted their poetry and the subtlety of their lyrics and punchlines wasn't the same. And it was still, you would listen to all of that. But then after that, there was a type. Because you know it. You know in the late 90s, that's why I got a fucking mini disc player. Because I got sick of people getting in my car telling me, yo, put on this Master P. Sorry, bro, I don't got a CD player. If you don't got it on mini disc, I can't put it in. Because people just became a type. And you were either listening to like Busta Rhymes, Wu-Tang or some shit, or you were listening to Cash Money, Master P type shit.
I have to say, like, because I'm a little younger than you, so like I did fall into the trap of enjoying like the Master P and Cash
no
Money.
hate. I'm glad he changed the game financially, selling shit out of his trunk. Yeah.
I'm not saying like there's hate behind it, but I will say though, the radio, we still have the radio, and the radio hypnotized a lot of minds. Because if you watch an old Method Man and I want to say Old Dirty interview, Method Man basically says it. If you caught on to it, if you play the same music over and over and over again, you're gonna like the music. And I know I can say that for myself because the 2000 hip hop was a very strange year, but that was still the year
of when
like,
it got weird. Yeah.
Yeah, but radio was still in effect. Radio major decision. Like I never realized it until maybe in my late 20s, how I never really listened to people's albums. I only listened to singles. Like when I started really listening to albums, and it's like, I know what I really like and I know what I really want to hear. Like it's fun to hear street shit, but it's not fun to hear them talking about murdering people left and right, because I can't relate to that. I don't dream about murdering. I have no desire to murdering. I understand if somebody's shooting at you, you have to shoot back. It's a life and death situation, but I'm not going to choose to murder people on a daily
Well,
basis.
I'm glad you chose not to murder people every day and get an erection, Jeffrey Dahmer.
Yeah,
I'm
like you
glad
see,
you chose the better
and
path.
like I can't like, and you listen to it, and then at some point in time, like I can understand, like you go to the club, you listen to the hook, right? And
Yeah.
then it's not until like you actually sit down and like, let me listen to this song alone, and you break down the verse and you hear that these guys are saying some weird ass shit. The beat is fire and the hook is great, but these guys aren't really saying anything.
Nah, see, we didn't fuck with like mainstream radio. Like we passed around albums and mixtapes like we would pass around books. Like, yo, you gotta check this out. You gotta check this out. And people from New York would bring down like Clue mixtapes. Like we heard the first Sons of Man album, like
Yeah,
Street Opera before
I didn't
anybody
have
else
that
had it out.
luxury until Napster. Like my brother turned me on
Right.
to a lot of New York stuff, but that's all I knew. Like I never really embraced the South until Outkast. But once Napster came in, then my hip hop world opened up a little bit more. Because now I had access to finding this music. Because before you had to go to a record store.
I didn't hear any hip hop that made me want to actively avoid it until I got to Florida. I never remember in my life hearing stuff that drove me away. Like everything was acceptable to a degree. I remember even just coming from hearing the regular mixtape stuff to hanging out with these weird kids who was rapping some underground shit. They were listening to like Company Flow LP back in
Yeah,
those
yeah,
days.
yeah.
Like hearing that shit was weird. They were almost rapping off beat on purpose, and everything sounded. The timing was all different. The way people rap was different. But even that, it was like, okay, this is different. It's kind of cool. But I never heard anything. I lived through Gravediggers, right? Like, and they were doing
Yeah.
some. They were doing some like faux horrorcore type shit. I don't think any of them were really like that, but they just did it as a theme for the Gravediggers music. That's how I felt anyway at the time. I didn't think any of them were cannibals or Satan worshippers or shit. I was like, they're just rapping crazy just to be having fun. But when I got to Florida and I started to hear the current stuff, which was like you said, the Little Johns and the crunk music and all that, it was weird, but it was also off-putting. I didn't want to listen to it. And then somebody let me hear, I had heard Bone Thugs singles, but when I heard somebody played the album for me and showed me like the liner notes of the album, and it was like blood and Ouija boards and shit, and he was rapping about Mr. Ouija and more murder, more homicide. I was like, yo, this shit is sick.
Yeah, man. Like when you start going into these albums,
Right. Slow
it's a
down.
whole
I was like,
different
yo, this
world.
shit is sick, bro. This is not. That was the first time I heard something that.
Hey, Mr.
ma-
Ouija.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was
with
dark.
it. I wasn't with it at all. But like I said, I lived through. When I heard Gravediggers, I had no. Like I didn't have any connection to the stuff other than wow, they talking crazy. When I heard Bone Thug and do it and seeing their album and all of that, like one of them guys on the Gravediggers album covers like holding a knife to his own eye and shit. It's like it didn't give me danger vibes. It was like you're just posing with a knife. I don't think you're suicidal. I don't think you guys are. You're just not like that. And then I heard other people. I think it's was it Brother Lynch hung and shit like that, and
Yeah.
real dark sicko shit
Yeah.
that made me not want to listen to it. Everything else was acceptable before I got to Florida. But
And
Florida ruined me.
it's weird too because the Gravediggers, like their first album was way more dark. Their second album, they actually got a little positive. They went more in like the 5% direction, and had some like positive songs. But the first album, like that project, it was so dark. And I remember playing it, and people in the car with me would gasp at certain parts. Like I had a religious person
Yeah, oh yeah.
in the car, and there was one line, I forget the dude's name. It's not Solomon Childs. I'm trying to remember his name. He's like one of them Wu-Tang side dudes.
Yeah.
Shabazz
Shabazz the Disciple.
the disciple. Yes. So he's like, buck, 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 I give your ass a Holy Ghost.
Yeah.
And this girl in the car with me, she just gasped like, oh my God, you have to turn this off. This is so sacrilegious. And 1-800-SUICIDE, where they're just encouraging children to kill themselves. I can't endorse that at all, but it's one of my favorite songs on the album. RZA found, or Prince Paul, I don't know who got it, but that's like the best Booker T and the MGs. I think that's where they sampled it from. Loop of all time. That's just a perfectly weird, out there loop. that has this dark, ill vibe, and it's like, damn, yeah.
Now, see, like maybe this is my own bias, but when we were listening to this back in the day, when we were listening to this, none of us took it as real dark music. It always just felt like
It just
a
was
theme album. It was character.
Yeah.
Right.
None of the shit felt real. None of it felt dangerous. We laughed at it when Riz was like, I chewed my fucking arm off and made an escape. We're like, oh, that's hilarious. Riz is crazy. Like none of it. But when like I said, Bone Thugs, that was totally different. I was like, these men are demonic. They want to release hell upon the earth. Turn it off right now. It just wasn't working.
But there's so many different elements. The beat,
Right.
the listening is just so much, like you just get lost. You're like, this is not like want to kill myself.
It's hypnotic, and that's what I love about that golden age 90s production style, is overlaying the samples with the break drums, and you just like, those are some of the greatest beats of all time, where it's an 8-minute song and the rest of it sounds bundle of sticky all the whole thing, but they just find 3 or 4 seconds where it's just like otherworldly. Like wow, there's like an eeriness to it, a spookiness to it, like a soft, melodic, soothing kind of sound. Yeah, and then that deep bass underneath, and you're like, damn, if I just heard this beat, I would think there's other things that you could rap about besides suicide. However, I kind of see where you're going with it. And it's just a dope sound. Sonically, it makes sense, and you listen to it and you're not looking to it for guidance. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like it's compartmentalized. You kind of understand what it is. And there was also too, like a couple years later, Kool Keith went through his renaissance.
Right.
And you really like, and at that point, like I think he lost 90% of his black fans, but I kept rolling with Keith. I love you from Ultra Mag. I'm going to keep rolling with you. Yeah, he took RZA's formula with the Gravediggers, and he's like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just going to rap like I'm a serial killer.
For the next 25 years. I'm just going to keep doing it.
I'm pushing body parts and shopping carts. Like, he's just talking.
His Bandcamp catalog is great.
Extensive.
If you go to his Bandcamp, it's fucking, like, so I respect it.
Dude, he just stopped giving a fuck, and he had one of the most unique flows. Change my pitch up, smack my bitch up. He was rhyming in a way, his delivery and cadence, nobody else did anything like it. Like, he has one of the most, like, that was an era that I love, because your inflection and your cadence, it was like if you did a graffiti signature and people could just tell your handwriting. Like, your voice was a signature. Like, you hear Sadat X, you always know it's Sadat X. You never confuse Sadat X with anybody else. You hear Greg Nice, original flavor Ghostface, you know it's Greg Nice. Nobody else sounds like him. So with Kool Keith to have that signature style, and then for him just to say, you know what, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck if I rhyme on beat. I don't care if my syllables match up with what's available and it's in the pocket. I'm just going to say whatever the fuck I want, however the fuck I want. And he kept having an audience.
Yeah, that's a life hack.
I completely respect that.
That's a life hack. Do whatever the fuck you want. I think this is what Kool Keith has done to me personally. Whenever anyone says the words Kool Keith together in a sentence, my brain immediately, by reflex, what I hear in my mind is there are bees in the anus. That's what I hear. And no matter what, no matter where I'm at, if I just hear Kool Keith's name uttered, the first thing my mind says is there are bees in the anus. It's not lyrics from Ultramagnetic MCs. It's from that Dr. Octagon shit. And I think it was pretty much just like an intro or something between two songs. And he just says,
bumps.
We're just going
bumps.
We're going to have to operate.
Acne.
We're going to have to operate. There are bees in the anus. We got to operate. Like,
oh, shit, there's a horse in the hospital. Yo,
and that's all I hear now. Every time I hear his name.
Can we do this? Can we get a little bit of ego tripping? And then let's pull up Dr. Doom no chorus. Let's just compare the transition.
Okay, so
and this is fair use, YouTube. You fucking fucks.
It was definitely fair use because we're commenting over it.
Of course we're commenting on it. These fucking devils.
That's what I fucking love about hip hop though. Hip hop also, like, to go back on the 18 suicide, it also made me realize, like, I'm not the only one having like these wild thoughts in my head, and like they made the world a lot bigger to me.
Yeah, hip hop. Yeah.
He's a wild boy. This is
87, 88, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
So around the time EPMD's coming out, Eric B and Rakim, like the beginning of the golden age. All right, yeah, let's forward past it. Let's get to the rhyme.
Intelligent, wise, as the record just turned, you learn, plus earn by the flame of the lyrics which cooks the human brain, providing overheating knowledge by means causing pain.
Unbelievable.
Headaches yourself start to melt while the techniques spin. The wax is on
the felt.
Clockwise, the more you realize, more love's moving steady by most. We're ever ready like a back.
Okay.
My brain can't go that far back, man. That's just so corny hip hop to me.
No, but listen, if you put it in the context,
Now, what did you
nobody was rhyming like that.
Nah,
at
yeah,
that
that's
time.
true. That's true.
It was completely unique, and yeah, it's some weird outer space shit, but nobody was doing that.
And what
Nobody
song did you
was-
say go to?
Oh, no chorus. Dr. Doom with 3 O's, no chorus. But it was completely unique. And if you listen to his cadence, he's completely, yeah, right. And he bit Master P for the art style. Like he's like, I'm just gonna do my own shit. It's great. But his inflection and his cadence, he was so in the pocket. It was so effortlessly the way that he laid it in there. Like nobody was rhyming like that. So like he had his own signature of uniqueness that was just unparalleled. Like he already cemented himself as like one of the greats. And then after a couple more records with Ultramag, he just said, fuck it, I'm going to make aliases and just be a nutcase. So just think about how much he's on beat, how much he's in the pocket, how fluid and effortless it is. And then he just decided to do this. And let's at least get through the whole verse.
Yeah, you motherfuckers ought to let me go and finish this motherfucking album. Dr. Doom. Name of this track is called I Don't Want the Motherfucking Chorus.
You can hear the
Whatever
lack of
arrangements are
flux
we
in
gonna
his,
go through?
in his voice already.
Fuck all the laws. What the fuck was in your mind when you rapped on that track? Who possessed you to do that? Who programmed that shit sound whack? Unplug your mic, you motherfuckers rap under a bunch of fucking hype. Programmed by the company making something G. Vocal sound like a nigga with no doing a promo. Making asses out of yourselves trying to rap solo. Suck my dick when you see me. Avoid me because you want to beat me.
Okay.
Just no fucks given. Yeah, it doesn't need to be smooth. It doesn't need to be in the pocket. I'm just gonna say the shit, and I'm gonna land wherever I want to land. I don't give a fuck. Suck my dick when you see me.
Yo, okay. All right, kid. This is what we doing. He don't give a shit at all, even a little bit. Okay, so fair use. This is a transformative work. Don't take the video down.
Y'all niggas write like slouches, puffing blunts on studio couches. What's up, you fucking amateur? Your engineer cueing your bullshit cadence. That shit sounds simple. Look at this nigga rhyming to it so whack as fuck, smell like shit with $1. Big crews don't want it, y'all get it worse. Which one of y'all motherfuckers is waiting for the mic first? I hope your bitches in the audience, your wife too, that's your fan base. Plus your DJ's in the place, I'm about to boo you, let it be fair. When you come off stage, 90% of the people that came on your guest list ain't gonna be there. Big disappointment when I rub your asshole with a verbal ointment. Rappers acting hard, nervous in the dressing room with a security guard. Groupies standing around with they fucking face frown, looking like fucking homie the clown. Put that spring water down, man, you ain't sweating.
Yeah, dude, can we pause it real quick? Like, there's not even a punchline in there. There's not like, I'm dope like crack. All of the traditional shit of the way I'm going to say something clever. It's like, no. I'm just going to tell you matter of factly. I'm going to go into the audience just so I can boo you. And I'm going to make sure when you get off stage, all the people that came to see you aren't there anymore. Like, it's just very matter of fact. Smelling like shit with $1. What?
Gosh. I love it, though. I love
ahead
it.
of his time.
Not that I would sit down and listen to it often, but I love the fact that
you can't ride around with your windows down.
Right.
This is
no, not
right.
at all. I don't think Kool Keith would have been relevant this long if he rapped like he was originally rapping.
You're probably right.
If he'd have stuck to his old style, I don't think we'd still be talking about him. The reason we're talking about him is Dr. Doom, Dr. Octagon, Black Superman, like all the wild shit that he did later on that cemented him really in the culture. Because nobody else from Ultramagnetic is being talked about.
No, I mean, Said G still did a lot of production. He still worked with Prince Paul here and there. But yeah, I don't think anybody else is.
Gosh.
Nah.
This
anywhere
shit's
near
amazing.
the relevance.
Cockroach was not used well enough in Master P's album. I feel like that should have been implemented in a lot of
Dude, and
stuff.
just there's a gorilla either eating or smoking crack. There's a mouse in the hamburger.
These need to be implemented back and stuff.
And he's passing it to you.
There's a baboon on the roof up there. I just saw him. He's up there chilling. Yeah, this is a wild. Yeah, I blame Master P for this entire thing. Everything that looks like this, I blame Master P. He destroyed the game. He was like, I don't have time for album art. Just stick the pictures together and just put them on there. I don't care. I'm not even going to look at it.
It's a dope art.
Everything is approved. Everything's approved. I don't even need to see it. Just put the records out. And it worked. It worked so well that it made itself a part of the culture. And then it lasted for mad long. Even people who weren't with Cash Money Records, other people was doing it. Then it became a meme of itself and came back. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Yeah, everybody I know that's met him is like, no, he there's seriously something wrong with him. It's not an act. He's not trying. The two people I heard that are legitimately crazy are Cool Keith and Psycho Les from the Beat Nuts. They're like, yeah, those guys are like, it's not an act. They're really out of their minds.
Well, hey, I believe.
You gotta
Cool
interview
Keith.
those guys.
I believe Cool Keith 100%. 100. I've never doubted for a single second. Actually, I doubted him when he was rapping regular. That's probably when I was just like, I wasn't really paying much attention to Ultramagnetic at the time, a little bit, and then Papa Large happened, and I was like, oh yeah, this shit's going left.
Big shot on the East Coast.
Yeah, once he was in a straight jacket in that video, and shit, I was like, yeah. This
But if
left.
you go back and listen to it, he still has that signature cadence.
He's getting off it though. That's what he's getting off it.
Nah, go back. Pull up Papa Large real quick. Maybe you're right. You could be right.
Yeah, he started to get ill a little bit because I remember the whole pick him up, eat him up, pick him up, picky. Like he was saying weird shit. He was, you can see he's losing it right here. He's already in a straight jacket with a cage on his head. I think he knew what was happening to him.
Gripping the mic, I plug it up in your ears, poison brood. I'm coming out like beers, like Rango. Miller Courts and Buzz. I'ma eat 'em with popcorn and treat 'em like such, you duds. Coming out the quick, whack, wiki, pickable whack, black, jack, that's a fact, right in the sack.
Yeah, he's getting a little weird.
Yeah, he's on his way. This was definitely his transition.
That's the transitional song right here.
That's the transition, but he's still trying, like, the style of beat is some jazz record bass, the whistle shit. And he's still in that, even the way the video shot, he's still trying to be a part of the culture.
Yeah, definitely.
Once he went to Dr. Octagon, he was basically saying, fuck all of you. I think all your shit is corny. At this point, I just want to mock it. Like, he might, I had this idea for troll music. I think he might be the original troll artist. I think at a certain point, he just started trolling hip-hop. He didn't give a fuck if he was a part of it anymore, or he was like, I'm just going to make fun of it. Like, shit is so bad, so watered down, so uncreative at this point. Like, the only thing I can do is just rap completely off beat and mock all of you.
Fuck it. Let's do it.
And it's sad because we have famous offbeat rappers.
Oh, dude, Silk the Shocker. To this day.
Blueface.
Look, we tried. I remember us freestyling and trying to do it. And it's like rapping off beat is harder than you think.
Yeah, you have to have it in you. I rap off beat.
Dude, it is one of the hardest things, like, because you just naturally want to follow the kick and the snare and land in between, and it just feels right as the words are coming out of your mouth. Like, to try to purposely just say I'm gonna land off, it's tough. I don't know, like,
especially as a black person.
You think it's a right and a left brain thing? I don't know.
I think you gotta really, like he said, you gotta just really be off. You can't do that shit on purpose. It's very difficult to do on purpose. You have to really hear it that way to interact with the beat that way. That's why there's only one Sun Ra. You know what I'm saying? The people who went into different genres like jazz and shit like that, they're like, I kind of want some freedom to do whatever I want to do. You got to really see that place in between the beats and in between the sounds, because if not, your brain is going to want to pull you to one of those major notes. You got to practice that shit. That shit is hard, bro. It's not easy. Well, I couldn't even. It's like when you first listen. If you go from listening to regular hip hop, even the underground stuff that's in the pocket, and then you start listening to to company flow, it'll make. It's like what's that feeling? Where you it's like vertigo. Like you want to fall.
Yeah, you feel off.
You want to fall over. It's like if you want to lean in closer to the speaker and then you fall over. That's what it is. It's like what are they doing? Why does the beat sound like that? Why is he rapping in the space that he's rapping? It's super off-putting at first, but then when you start hearing what they're saying and how they're putting shit together, some of it's cool, some of it's dope. Even Aesop Rock back in that time was kind. I think he's more in the pocket now than he's ever been. But they was to hear them rap the way they were rapping was weird as fuck to me at first, and it just represented. It's like you go to a party and you go into a room and it's a bunch of hippies with tie-dye shirts and they're listening to Grateful Dead or something like that. You associate the whole energy, the whole atmosphere with exactly those people. Like, yeah, this is hippie shit, or this is thug shit right here. When you listen to LP, Old Company, Flow Records, and bro, those were just the nerds of hip hop. That was backpack rap before the mainstream world got a hold of the term. They were calling Kanye West backpack rap. No, backpack rap was the shit that you could barely understand. That was the original lyrical, spiritual miracle kids. That's what that was. That was them.
Lyrical, spiritual, miracle.
Yeah, it was those guys. But no, I still love some of that old shit, but I definitely remember how off-putting it was when I first started listening to it. I just want to address somebody in the comments, though. Jeremiah said, y'all on CP time. I was here at 5:20. So, I just want to say that the concept of being on time is white supremacy, just so we all know. Being on time and like adhering to schedules and having any concrete idea of when anything is going to happen is oppressive white supremacy. I mean, clearly this is why they made the clocks, just to remind you of slavery. That's what all this stuff is. So we try not to feed into the patriarchal white supremacist voodoo doll as little as possible. We want to do that as little as possible.
When we get here.
Exactly.
Well, I want to give them a little bit of behind the scenes, because this may shock you. We're late because of the European Jew.
Right.
The European Jew single-handedly. No. Throw me under the bus. It's only right, because you would expect it to be the Rogans, but it wasn't. It wasn't.
You'd expect it to be my shiftless Rogan partners here. No, I love shiftless is one of my favorite words to use to make people uncomfortable. Whenever you say shiftless, it just gets real. It gets absolutely real, and I love it. It's hilarious. But yeah, we got some other special topics we want to get into that, and I'm gonna pass it over to our Yakubian Cavemanistine co-pilot here to possibly enter something into the grander compendium.
I want to submit it to the compendium. I gotta say, every time you draw attention and officially send it over to me, I completely clam up. I am not good at this. I'm bad at my job, and I need to get better. But I do have something that's compendium worthy, and I'll tell you how I stumbled upon it. So I was watching a dog. I was dog sitting, okay? And I became very fond of the dog. I like the dog. I don't really like dogs. I never had a dog. I didn't let the dog get in the bed with me. I didn't mouth kiss it or none of that. But we were cool. I'd feed him. I'd walk him. He'd come over. I'd pet him a little bit. And we were just really cool. He really liked me. He started liking me better than his owner. We got tight. So I took him to the dog park one time. And when he got to the dog park, and he was like a pit bull and a husky mixed. So he's kind of a bigger dog, but he's a puppy, so he's not fully grown. He's like less than a year old. He doesn't really know anything. He hasn't been socialized around other dogs. So I take him to the dog park, and within 30 seconds, I was mortified. So he goes out and starts frolicking the dogs. He starts aggressively licking the dicks of every single dog he can get to. And I had no idea that dogs engaged in this kind of behavior. And people are looking at me. I'm like, I'm not getting involved. This ain't even my dog. I don't know what you want me to do. I'm not getting in between it. I don't know any of these dogs except the one I brought. So he starts licking. There was at least 7 or 8 dicks that he licked. He's just having a ball, just licking and sucking. And then one of the dogs, the dicks he's licking, starts banging him. So he's getting banged by another dog for like maybe 40 seconds. And then when it's over, he starts banging the other dog.
Good Lord.
And then at
You
that
said
point,
dog rape.
listen, at this point, I'm like, all right, this was a bad idea. I don't know what my obligation is to say to these people. Like, I'm sorry, my dog sucked your dog's dick and banged him a little bit. Like, I don't know what this, like, I don't know, like, because I'm not a dog person, I'm like, I don't know if this is just a common thing. I don't know if this is something that we're just supposed to accept. I don't know if this dog I'm watching is gay. I'm not judging him. I mean, we're still cool. I'm not gonna like withhold, dog treats and shit. If he's gay, he's gay. I accept him. But I'm kind of uncomfortable because all the people, the adults around, the human owners, right? They're kind of appalled at the behavior. And then I kind of had a revelation. So we want these dogs to behave a certain way, and we want them to suppress some of their instincts that we find gross, that are offensive to us. And I'm like, maybe that's how all this shit got misunderstood in the Bible. Maybe they misunderstood it. Maybe it wasn't like, all right, we got to kill all the homosexuals. It's just whoever was engineering us was like, listen, y'all are doing some gross shit. I see you fucking each other in the ass. You're sucking each other's dicks at the people park. You're banging some of the goats. You're doing a lot of this gross shit. Let us help you out. And then I thought about it even more, and I'm like, oh shit, you know what? Dogs started out as wolves. How did we get them to dogs? We basically gave them religion. We gave dogs religion, and we translated them, or we transitioned them from beastly, uncivilized wolves that would tear the throat out of any baby. A dingo ate my baby. This is their original state of being. They're primal savages. And then after years and years of civilizing behavior, leading them with treats, teaching them to sit, to roll over, eventually they started becoming more acceptable to us. So we kind of engineered them to be good companions. And I was thinking, I'm like, what if that's all that Bible shit is? It's just like somebody saw us in our primitive caveman ape states and was like, you know what would be cool? Let's make some snickerdoodles. Let's make some Yorkies. Let's make some Shih Tzus. Well, how are we going to do it? Well, let's start giving them commandments. Let's start telling them to do certain things. Like the dog would go outside, and every time he would come in, he doesn't understand. He's like, I'm just going to come in. I'm like, nah, give me paw. I got to wipe your feet. So now I got these religious, cleanly activities. I got these ceremonial washings, right? You can't just come in. You can't just enter the temple. You can't do that. You got to go through the ceremonial washing. Then I can let you in. Then this bastard wants to start hopping on the couches. You can't be on the couch. And so he's thinking, well, I see the humans sitting on the couch. Yeah, but those are the gods. That's the throne. You can't sit on the throne. Here, sit on the floor on your little dog bed. You can't be on the couch.
Yeah.
Why? Because the couch is like the throne. It's the human throne. You start learning about hierarchy. And even in the way that they approach you when they need something. Dogs pray. When they're hungry, when they want something, please let me go take a shit outside. Please let me fuck that pillow. Please. What do? They just put their face on your lap and they look sad as fuck. That's like a prayer.
They prostrate themselves.
Exactly. If they do some wrong shit and they know you're about to spank their ass, they bow in front of you. They just bow down like, look, I'm sorry about that. I don't know why that happened. I don't know what I was thinking. Please forgive me. All the shit that we had to instill into human beings to take them from riotous, cavemanistine, savages to actually civilized people that are capable of not raping and not murdering and defying their instincts. It took thousands and thousands of years of religious instruction to eventually speciate humanity and get these qualities so that humans went from apes to humans. And that's exactly what we did with dogs, from wolves to dogs. We gave them that basic structure of guidance to basically turn them into what they are, to make them acceptable. And the more I thought about it,
them former selves.
a shadow of them former selves, but a whole new creation that's in accordance with the will of their creator.
Right.
And and so I was like, you know what? The shepherds of civilization, the architects of language, the wizards and priests or whoever crafted all of this shit that the rest of us are kind of in the midst of, like, it couldn't have been a coincidence. Somewhere there's some like Enochian priest or some shit that was like, yeah, when we construct language, dog and God are just going to be the reverse, because exactly as God looks at human beings and civilizes human beings, like, it's pretty much the same basic game plan as what human beings are doing to dogs. And so you even think about it like Adam and Eve and them breeding indiscriminately, you know, the Enki and Enlil, like Babylonian whatever tablets, where it talks about like how they instructed breeding, right? They just didn't let humans breed indiscriminately. Like they did it by design, like not much different than what we're doing with dogs. And even when we breed a dog, we're like, it's kind of got to be the same. I don't want you to lower my dog's value. Like, I got a pit bull, it needs to fuck a pit bull. Purebreds are what we want. Those are the better breeds. And then you read the Bible about like, yeah, don't intermingle with those other tribes. don't do that. Like, we're gonna have a religious ceremony. We're only gonna fuck in accordance with these rules. We're only gonna fuck people with our tribes. It's the guidelines for speciation. Human beings were speciated with tribalistic religion instruction, not at all dissimilar from what we do with dogs. And at every aspect it lines up. Like, I think about the dog not knowing language. Like, what is the pantheon for the dogs? These unfathomable concepts. The dog doesn't understand insurance. The dog doesn't understand that it's got somewhere to stay because I pay the fucking rent. You understand?
Right.
Like, all of these things that the gods have made. The gods have made this palace. I don't gotta go hunt. These luxurious toys and beef jerkies and fake bacon delicacies that are placed before me, they all come from my creator.
That's the manna.
Right. And then I think like the dogs probably got to talk amongst themselves. You know, like, listen, like, some of them have got to be like, look, man, I don't think these humans are really like the gods. I think they're like the demiurge. I think there's some shit higher than them that we can't even fathom. Nah, man, that's crazy talk. You know who feeds us? You know who whips our asses and makes us do the ceremonial foot washing and sits on the magic couch that we can't sit on? Of course they're gods. Of course they're in charge. Of course they can. Look at all that fancy shit that they can do. I can't open a can. Look at them opening cans with their fancy gadgets and opposable buttons.
One of the dogs
supposed
is
to be
like,
out hunting.
one of
This
the
is
dogs,
unnatural.
he's like, when they leave, I sit on the magic throne. And they're like, you lie. You lie. You wouldn't dare. No, as soon as they walk out the door, I jump on the couch, I swear.
I'm in a
No,
cage all day.
You know,
I'm
in the
cage
day
all
that you sit on that couch, you will surely die. There's
That's
no
what
way.
he said. He said he'd kill me, but I jumped on the couch and I didn't die, bro.
I'm not dead. Look, check this out. I'm on the couch right now. What? What?
And that's when the dog runs out the house and bites a kid. He's just like, he becomes an atheist. He don't believe in humans no
gets
more.
killed.
Right.
So he just bites a
What
kid.
am I even doing? Why am I even a good boy? I'm a good boy for what? What does it even matter?
Doesn't matter. That's what people. That's the extreme they always go. So if there's no God, you can just rape and kill children, right? Like, is that what's stopping you? Like,
Nothing
the dog
means
is like,
anything
if humans
anymore.
aren't God,
You know,
I'm going to bite
there
a
was
baby,
a dog
bro.
without a leash. I had a note in my apartment complex, and all I could think, this is probably what happened.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, in the wild, they're not even introduced to any of these concepts, and all of a sudden, there's now this pantheon of grooming. I gotta get my toenails clipped. I gotta get my hair brushed so I don't shit. That's not something that's going on in nature. But for them to be what they are so that they're acceptable to us, they start learning about these other concepts that are kind of an abstraction or foreign to what their normal existence would be. It's not at all dissimilar from the pantheon of going to war, having a nation, having agriculture, having the arts, music. Like, these are things that the apes don't have. Us in our most primal state, we don't have. But as humans, right, because of all of these years of being civilized by religious thought, we become these sophisticated beings that can now engage in these things. So like these wolves would never even be introduced to some of these things had we not intervened and given them dog civilization. The analogy is exactly the same. It lines up in every respect when it comes to procreation, when it comes to how you ask for something, how you show that you're sorry, reverence, respect, ceremonial washings, grooming instructions. Like you go back in there and you read that Old Testament, all the shit that God is telling people to do. It's to make you an acceptable dog. Y'all were fucking gross. Y'all were gross. Y'all were gross wolves. And God, what is that? What is happening here? Is that dog in pain?
No, this dog, I was showing you talking about how these things evolve. And this is a dog that has learned how to pretend to be injured to get food.
Wow. No way. Are you sure it's not really injured?
Well, no, just watch. Yeah. He's crawling around the floor. He's dragging his legs like he knows exactly what to do. Look, somebody throws some food out on the ground, and watch what he does. Oh, there we go.
Damn.
So this is what your creation, as much as you try to teach them, and this must be like racial memory. They start, once one of them knows it, they all know it. So he's just out. How many times do you think he had to see an actual injured dog get taken care of or get fed before he learned how to do this?
Wow.
Look at him. He's just dragging. Look, he looks pathetic, bro.
Didn't they say apes are learning how to fish too now?
Oh, they're using stone
They've
tools.
entered into Stone Age, yeah.
Yeah. Look at him. Look. Somebody tells him get out of the street. Fuck it. It's not working. I'll just come back later.
I'll come back and look sad later for food.
Yeah, dude, it's unbelievable. This is what they're learning. So yeah, as we're trying to teach them, they're evolving to get around everything. And like I said, as soon as we leave the house, they disrespect all the rules anyway. So they don't really believe in God either. They just only believe when we're there watching them. They don't have any concept of us being omniscient. See?
And once we're gone, that's it.
Yeah.
Until you get a security system.
And then you start yelling at them from out of the house.
Yeah,
because
I got a camera with a mic. As soon as he jumps on it, he hears the voice of God. Get the fuck off the couch. And he does it. He's like, damn, you got me, bro.
I would say if we do that and we can keep dogs in check with that, dogs have a better relationship with their God than we do.
Yes.
Because if you could just be like, if you're on your way to the brothel and God's like, bro, don't cheat on your wife. And you're like, oh, you just hear that voice come out of the sky. You just turn around and go back home and shit.
Gotta go home.
Or you say, man, fuck that. I'm going to do it anyway. Because you still got free will. Just because God talked to you from the clouds doesn't mean you don't have free will anymore. You could still go in there and do it. So technically you still have free will. I just think it's pretty hilarious, the concept that we would be able to get yelled at while we're doing shit from the sky might make the world, that makes the world a better place, right? I mean,
we need that intervention. Absolutely.
The threat of us just disappearing in an instant will change the whole world.
Yeah, religion is important. Religion is important in that way because too many people. I've listened to over the years. I've watched this guy named Matt Dillahunty, and he has a atheist experience show where people call in and they talk to him about being an atheist. He has so many clips where people say, so if you don't believe in God, why don't you just kill and rape? Why don't you just murder people? And it's like the worst behaviors that you could think of. They say, like, why aren't you doing that if you don't believe there's a God? That's like people in prison, like, hey, the warden's gone. Let's just start raping everything. See, that makes sense.
Well,
because
that
the
would
people
happen
in prison
just to be clear.
Right, it makes sense because they're psychotic and they worked really hard to get to a place where that was a possibility in life. That's one of the main things that happens there, but they worked really hard to get there. So, but that could happen because they're all crazy, violent criminals. But just out here in the regular world, that's what's stopping. That might be what's stopping a lot of people from being a lot worse. Is
possibly, But what Matt Dillahunty, I think, is not taking in consideration is that he's the byproduct of that civilizing force. You were born into an existence that has thousands and thousands of years. Like, we started out fucking animals and wanting to rape angels. We started out as angel rapists, right?
Allegedly.
No. It was written.
No, I believe that. I believe it.
And the most moral man in the times of angel rape was like, no, please rape my daughters. That was the moral response to the act of angel rape.
Daughters that he later got drunk and got pregnant, right?
Yes. Right.
No, but and also it wasn't his fault because they raped him.
They got him drunk, which almost kind of makes me think, because we don't know who wrote that book. I kind of think that Lot wrote it, and I kind of think that Lot wrote it because he was like, "Look, I didn't want nothing to do with these gals. I tried to let the whole town bet.
Not
interested.
My wife turned around. That's not my fault. My wife turned around and
wow.
Drunk nights in a row and banged me in a cave because I thought about it. Because they teach you, it's all from God. It's all from God. It's the wisdom of God. I'm like, so hold on, wait. So I understand why he wants to tell me not to steal. I understand why he wants to tell me not to covet my neighbor's wife. I understand why he wants to tell me not to commit adultery or, murder anybody. I'm on board. You want to get this information to me. You've got your moment, right? You're not speaking indefinitely forever. At some point, you're not going to say anything, right? But at this point in history, you got some shit you want to get across. So I can only assume that these are the cliff notes of the universe. These are the things you absolutely got to get across to me. And what was one of them? Well, it's a story about a man and his daughters, some alcohol in a cave. And he goes into the cave and he doesn't know. I mean, he's so, God bless him. He's just good-natured. He doesn't know what's going on. And his young, nubile, busty daughters who escaped being raped by a whole town. And the first thing you think after you're almost raped by a whole town is, man, can dad get us pregnant? I escaped getting raped by a town. I'd really like dad to bang me.
I need a baby.
Right, I need a baby. Put a baby in me, dad. So they get drunk, and they don't even get it all done in one night, right? So there's two books. So like, let's get drunk one night. I'll bang them.
So we both get fresh loads.
Like, the week after load.
You gotta respect the longevity of this story, though. Like, this story has been told to, like, first it just used to be powerful people talking about, man, did you hear about the banging the wife and the sisters and everything? And then it just now everybody hears this story.
That kept this down, right? That kept this going. So eventually, during the Babylonian captivity, it could be written down. But the story kept circulating, and then it goes in and it says, and the descendants of Lot and his daughters were those filthy fucking Moabites. So really, it's a long scenic route to thousands of years later to be like, you know who we don't like? Them fucking Moabites.
It's like a backstory you do in Game of Thrones when you want to make the audience hate a certain house. You got to do a backstory of how they were rapists and shit like that, and then it's like, oh yeah, these are the bloodline of those people. So you just
the House of Moab.
don't like them. Yeah.
The daughter fuckers.
Shit. It's just like an Irish limerick. It's like all the debauchery and everything going on in the whole Sodom and Gomorrah story. It's like a dirty limerick you tell in a bar after you had a couple pints.
It just gets worse and worse and worse. So I'll say this too, because I don't push it on anybody. I do believe in God. If I'm being honest with myself in my consciousness and in my most quiet of moments and thoughts, I definitely believe in God. And I don't believe in God in the way maybe that a lot of traditional belief systems centered around the Bible are kind of play. Like, I'm not knocking on anybody's door. I'm not arguing about it. I feel like if you're interested in it, you'll look into yourself. If you want to talk about it, we'll talk about it. But yeah,
I'm 37 years old. I came to the same conclusion. I just enjoy the stories at this point, because people who really like try to follow the traditional, I'm a Christian, I'm a Catholic, and it's just like, so have you heard the story about like explain to me the purpose of that story, and
well,
then
no,
explain
no, go ahead.
But I'm just saying, like, what's like, at some point you have to tell yours, because some people will be like, this is the most powerful, this is the truth, nothing equates to this. So you're telling me a story about two kids making fun of guy and 30 bears, like, what is it, mauling them or raping them?
No, two bears, 40 kids.
Yeah, like,
two bears, 40 kids.
It's just like, you telling me like that story just had to be told. Like, that's just, you're not telling me like there's not some nation building involved. There's not some nation going
That's
on.
the problem. I get exactly what you're saying. That's the problem. I think some people put a whole lot of weight on it as if it's an accurate account of human history, as if it's like
Right.
this infallible word, this magic book. And it's like, no, I get the significance, I get the literary significance of it. But if you're going to tell me this is exactly what humans need to fix the world, I'm going to be like, tell me about this part where a woman gets raped to death and cut into 13 pieces or some crazy
12
shit.
pieces.
12 pieces, my bad.
12 pieces and shipped off to the 12 coasts.
That's what I'm
Israel.
saying.
Right, so
Like,
that's what
I
I'm
don't
saying.
even know how there's 12 coasts.
So let me get the behind the scenes, look at break down why humanity needs that story. So it's just some people that they just take it too far. I would never argue with anybody about it anymore. It's not some shit that I used to care a lot about it. I was one of those people who tried to memorize shit to debunk the Bible and like all of this kind of shit. And that's
that's
only
Horus. That's Horus and Osiris, bro.
right. But that's only because of the way we're indoctrinated with it on the front end to really shake yourself loose of it. Sometimes you don't get to just let it go and walk away. You got to like try to embarrass it conceptually and like take it apart and make it so it's not true anymore. And that's exactly what I was going through. But I think the closest thing, I don't know if I would say I believe it. It's just something that I could rest my head on and not want to dig any further. Like, this kind of makes sense to me. I could live with this idea. It's like the Hindu Brahmin kind of concept of God. And they're just like, it's a grand consciousness that you can't even fathom. And it's out there having a dream. And everything in existence is the dream of the Brahmin. So like, it doesn't have any connection to it to where you could be like, hey, Brahmin, make my life better. It's like, if you wake them up, the world is over. So you can't, it's just a dream. Just be in the dream, deal with your karma, your retro, like all that kind of shit. But I would rather, I can rest my head better on an inaccessible God than one that you're going to pray to hit the lottery. Because it's like, if you think God got you this job, I got some children in Africa with parasites eating their eyes that I'd like to talk to him about. Like, it gets kind of silly. It just breaks down once you take it from a personal concept to something that you try to project onto the rest of the world. Like, no, God will he'll fix it for you. That's
and
when
it falls apart. And there's people that dedicate their lives to being apologists and trying to explain those things away, which I think is just an insult to like the grand consciousness. Like, and because I guess what I want to convey too is like, because I know there'll be some people who are very religious who will get really offended. Like, why are you making fun of, the Bible? Why are you making fun of these stories? So I just want to be clear, like, look, I do believe in God. I have a reverence for the creator. I don't deny that the signature of humans is all over the Bible. Like, it's all over, like you talked about, well, we step on the couch. Like, there's a story in there where David goes into the temple and he eats some of the holy priest bread. And on paper, you're supposed to die. Like, you ate the priest bread, you hopped on the couch, and then it's like, yeah, I hopped on the couch, I didn't die. I ate the priest bread, and I didn't die.
And let's talk about how the punishment for eating the priest bread is death. Can we talk about that? So if you just, not under any circumstances, if you steal it from them, no. So if I just eat it, die. Just, that's it. I don't even want to talk to you no more. Kill that person. But exactly. Go ahead, finish. My bad.
No. And then, by that, so he gives David a pass, right? All right, David, you killed Uriah. You basically fucked his wife. You sent him off to war to die. You ate some bread that I'm supposed to kill you over. Get out of here, you lovable little scamp. And he just kind of rubs his hair and sends him on his way. Listen, you're God's chosen beverage. What am I going to do? Murder you? Get out of here.
Hey, look, I'm going to send out an angel to kill the firstborn of everybody.
All the babies.
Every baby.
David gets a pass,
unless you take some blood, right? You take some blood and you paint it outside you. Because if I see that, then I won't come inside and kill you.
Well, not you. If you study the Kabbalah, it's the angel of death.
Right.
The pleroma, the hierarchy of all of these powers, because it's not just God and then the planet. It's God and the celestial bodies and the angels and the phases of creation, all these other things before you get there. So there's definitely some delegation. So I think, was it Aziel is the angel of death, I think? I could be wrong, or Samael. I
think
could
it's
be wrong.
Aziel or something like that.
Yeah, so he sends him out, and so you don't get that from the Bible. You got to go to the extracurricular books, and you know what they're referencing.
Oh, yeah.
But he sends him out, so really you can't put it on God. He's delegated it to this angel, and he's like, look, I better see some blood. If I don't see some blood, I'm killing all the babies. I don't really care. But then you have all this leniency for David, and then there's a story about carrying the Ark of the Covenant. So you know God's with us. Well, how do you know God's with us? Because we got this box. If we just carry around this box, we got Aaron's rod in it. We got the 10 Commandments. We got some shit we carry in this box. And look,
all the grapes.
This is proof God is with us. Oh, so this shit sounds pretty important. Yep, we got to carry it at all time. All right. So some guy sees the Ark of the Covenant falling, and he's like, oh, shit. This is the proof of God. This shit is important. Let me go ahead and help and carry this. Dead. No mercy. No kind of, I get the intent. Like, oh, yeah, he was just trying to help. Nope, you broke a rule. You don't touch the Ark of the Covenant. I have to kill you. But it's like, wait a minute. David was supposed to die from eating the bread. Huh? What are you going to do? So there's no consistency. And then when you start to look at it, you're like, well, there's always been this competition between should the priests be in charge? Should the king be in charge? And you always see, like, even if you look at Tutankhamun, who apparently was killed because of, the struggle. I think Akhenaten had the same struggle. Like, is he really in charge, or is it the priestly class in charge? Is Donald Trump in charge, or is it the deep state that's in charge? Like, this is an endless thing just with power. That's how power works. So if you wanted to try to tell a story that the priests are full of shit, maybe you write that story in there. That, hey, you're eating magical bread. It's not magic. They're not really doing anything magical. They're not really talking to God behind the curtain. But you can't just say that. So maybe you write little stories in there. And then if you want to, assert the powers of the priest, maybe you have a couple of stories where, these priests were burning the wrong incense, so God just struck them dead. Because you want to convey that it's that serious. So then you start seeing I'm not saying that there's not a God. There is probably a grand consciousness behind all this. I don't think everything just is and by happenstance got here. I do think there's part of a supreme consciousness, and that is kind of in the oldest origin stories, not dissimilar from the Brahmin shit that you were describing. Like, instead of this corporeal being, right, or this persona, right, there's these attributes and consciousness that is kind of behind it. And that's why when we say that we're made in the image, because we have that consciousness. Right. Now we know. So when you pointed out the dogs, right, as wolves, they don't know what they're doing. They're not trying to be mean. They just want to eat some shit. So if they got to eat a baby, if they got to eat a goat, they just want to eat. But until you get the knowledge of good and evil, until you get civilized and get that higher consciousness, then you have the capacity to just do some shit that's malicious. Like, I don't even need to eat this shit. I just want to kill it. I just want to kill it, get an erection, and watch it die.
Like a pit bull, basically.
Right. It's something different when you have the consciousness and you have the civilization and you still kind of operate like you can forgive a primal impulse because it's uncivilized. It's just nature doing what nature does. But once you get the consciousness to be beyond nature, then you get the responsibility of good and evil. And then that's when the real malicious evil shit goes on. That's when you get dogs pretending to be crippled to get treats. Then you start getting this shit pimping out the system. So even in when people take shit literally, oh, God made the world in 7 days. If you really do the knowledge on the history of it, and the 7 tablets of creation, like the Sumerian tablets, and even when you look at the phases of creation, it's giving you everything that science would back up. Yeah. The first day there was light and dark, but there wasn't the sun and the moon till the 4th day. So how was there light and dark for the first day? Because it's telling you before you even start putting those things into being, you have the concept first. Right. The very principles of creation, light and dark, like water and air, earth and water. You have these dualities, these contrasting principles. So those principles have to exist first. Then you have a moon and a sun, light and dark. Then you have vegetation and ocean, right? And then you have creatures growing on the planet and vegetation growing on the planet and eventually humans, right? So you don't just get to this like I dream a genie, I'm shaking my nose and then all of a sudden shit is
There are
appearing.
rules and laws to it all.
Exactly. It's laying out the laws and principles of creation and the phases of creation. And when they tell you about evolution, it's exactly in the same order that you see life being produced in the Genesis account. So that's why I would never argue with somebody about, oh, it's all garbage and throw it away, or it's literal. And if you don't believe it all literal, you're a heathen and you're going to hell. Like, it's a really nuanced conversation. And I think, I love that dude, Devin Tracy. He follows both of you. He won't follow me. He's not following me. And I gotta say, I think maybe the atheism thing. So if the belief of God is offensive, I apologize. I really want an angle to get him to make meteorologist cameos, and he's a classic guy. I gotta say too, because I think I forgot to mention this. When we originally reached out to him, I was such an idiot. I'm like, yo, make sure you give me, the promo code and shit so we can promote it. And that dude is so classy. He fucking exudes couth. He's a couth exuder. Because he could have just as easily been like, listen, guy, 5 people watch you. I don't think we need to bother with my promo code that much. But he didn't. He totally indulged me. He's like, oh, yeah, it's AIU. That would be awesome, man. Hey, I really, really appreciate it. And then he comes on our show and then quadruples our subscribers.
Oh, you're speaking of Devon. You got me confused.
Devon,
Oh, sorry,
Like,
Devon.
who the
I
fuck was
forgot.
Devin?
You gave him his black card. He's Devon. I apologize.
Yeah.
I'm calling him by his Jacobian slave name. I apologize.
Well,
Devon.
he hasn't officially accepted the black card yet.
But we keep sending it to him like, hey, you sure?
Yeah, we
You
got
know,
one on
I
file.
think I'm good.
We got one on file. All he has to do is claim it.
You're ready.
But I think that would be an interesting conversation too, because I get why he totally throws the whole shit out of the window. Like, I get it. Like, you can't be an intellectually honest person and look at a lot of this shit and be like, oh yeah, it's totally God, not man. It all makes sense. But to just see the civilizing principle and what these things have done, like, there's definitely more to it. I don't know if aliens or fallen angels or whatever, but like
It's all
how
connected.
human beings came to be what we are. Like, there was an intervention somewhere. There's something to these ancient stories. And even when you talk to scientists, they're like, yeah, there's like polar shift every 100,000 years or some shit,
Right.
where basically everything dies. And then these stories start to make sense. So it's like, yeah, if you wanted to pass along some of this high level knowledge about how creation comes to being and what the ingredients for civilization are, maybe you'd want to pass them as long as allegories. Maybe you wouldn't want to get into the minutia and the specifics and computer chips and all that shit, because that's not what's going to last, right? So you give it to people as allegories and stories. So when the polar shift happens and it is Armageddon, the planet is over. It's done. Like, when you see a 3,000 foot fucking tidal wave, right? When you see all these massive earthquakes and volcano, and the planet is Earth is like, yeah, we're just going through our 12,000 or 100,000 cycle or
Scratching
whatever.
his back.
Yeah, we're just we're cleaning house. And the people that live in caves survive, and they keep some of this knowledge. Like, maybe there's something to it that they knew to go there. And like, even when you read, when Jesus says like, yo, when you see these last signs, like, head up into the mountains, get into some caves, like, run for cover. Shit is a wrap. Like, maybe there is some real knowledge hidden in there. And yeah, there's probably a lot of bullshit from man, but to completely throw it out the window, I think it's to deny what this information has gifted to humanity to make us what we are. And we just kind of take for granted, oh, well, if there's no God, I'm just going to go out there and rape babies and murder the elderly. It's like, no, you're not going to do that. But are you acknowledging the information that went into civilizing human beings so you got to this point? Or are you so arrogant to think that your actual biological makeup isn't telling you every minute of the day to fuck these babies and eat them and rape and kill? Like, that shit is wired in our DNA. That's in our chimpanzee blood. That's in our lizard brain. That shit is in there. That's the ingredients of creation. Like, all of that shit is within us. But what did we have to do to get to the point where we could passively not rape. What happened to get us to that point? Like, it didn't just happen. And I think when people go that full atheist argument and just completely throw out religious thought, I think they just deny that civilizing principle, you know, that made us dogs that don't go and lick all the dicks at the dog park.
No,
I get it.
Yeah, I get it. I get it.
I get it too.
It's parts of the same coin.
Yeah, it's because to me, like I believe also in like life experiences and like just different shit. I'm like super Haitian, so like I seen weird shit too. But like I think people get all the magic and the hoopla and they forget like humans gonna fucking human. So it's like you read all this shit, how this magical being's gonna come out and save the day, but you forget the part where like humans been fucking it up. Humans fuck it up more than ever.
Humans do fuck it up, or you read the story and understand it differently, and you meditate on the kingdom of heaven comes not with observation. Neither will men see it and say, there it is, this within you. People want God to fix everything. People want Daddy God, but very few people want God responsibility. They want God to come out and fix shit. They don't want to grow up to be God and fix it themselves. And maybe that teaching is in there and it's kind of veiled. And because institutions and political machinations leveraged those ideas to get what they wanted, it just became a lot easier thing to package. Like, hey, just come and tell me all of your secrets. Like, think before the internet, right? How much power does the church have if it knows everybody's secrets?
Yeah,
you basically have an espionage network by having confession. If you got people pooling your money together and they're afraid and, oh, you're going to go to hell, and you don't need to really read it. We're never going to translate in a language that you need, but all you need to know is just believe this shit and you won't go to hell. Give us your money. Tell us all of your secrets, and we promise we'll do right by you.
There's this lady. I don't mean to cut you off. There's this lady in New Orleans. I forgot her name. She's like a very like famous lady. Supposedly like she was deep into voodoo and shit like that, right? But when I'm Haitian, so when I heard the story,
Marie Laveau.
Marie Laveau, I think it's her. But basically, she owned a beauty parlor. Right? She owned a beauty parlor where all the rich white women came to get their hair done. So of course she was like the most powerful person in the community because she knew what they were talking about. She had leverage on these people. You see what I'm saying? So it's just like it's the same shit.
Hell yeah.
Just to piggyback what you were saying.
Yeah,
all the gossiping and all that.
I think the Catholic Church, if they wanted to, the church in general, they could just run an underground blackmail ring.
Yeah.
They could just trade information and use it to blackmail people everywhere.
When I left the cult that I was in, he was always pushing people to like have meetings with each other, have meetings with him, tell them this, tell them that. I was never comfortable with that for numerous reasons.
He was trying to get them goods, bro.
So when shit fell apart, he's throwing, because a lot of people did it. He's like, oh, I'm gonna tell your family this, I'm gonna tell your family that. I'm like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Like, it's the same. Humans always gonna fuck some shit up.
Yeah, I totally understand why, like you said, somebody would kind of throw it all away just because, like I said, the way they indoctrinate people, the way the fear politics come into it, you're gonna go to hell and all this kind of.
There was a time when they were saying dinosaurs never existed. I'm like, you motherfucker.
If God is testing you.
No, the one I like the best is that the dinosaur stuff is not really real, but the bones that they found, Satan put those there to confuse the scientists. And I was like, Satan put bones in the ground?
Get out of
here. What are we talking about here?
This dude is clever.
Are we just part of some weird ass loaded game between friends? It sounds like one of those guy friends road trip movies. You got two friends that just try to screw each other over and prank each other for the whole weekend. Is that what this is? Because it seems like one could just kill the other one. A guy could just be like, you know what? I'm sick of this Satan shit. He could just snap you out of existence, but then it's like, it's no fun. What am I going to do for the next 100 million years? Just chill in peace? No, I need like a little talking snake down there that's always monkey wrenching everything. And so, which technically is probably just a facet of God's own personality, right? So he disassociated a personality that he could argue with for eternity. I don't know. It just all of it's weird. So I could definitely understand why somebody would say, "I don't want to fuck with none of this." But we gotta also remember, despite what the Bible and some Christian apologists say, atheism is the foundational identity of every human. Like that's how you're born. If your parents don't ever say anything about it, if they don't ever give you a Bible, not that I know of, I've never heard of a kid just getting 12 one day and be like, "Who is Jesus?" Like he just got it beamed into his brain. That's not how
We're
it
indoctrinated.
happens. We're indoctrinated every single time. So you got to learn that. That's not something that you absolutely need to. I mean, now after all, like you said, after all the civilizing that's taken place, we live in a society now where you don't necessarily need to access that directly to guide your behavior. And most people functioning in the world out here today are only accessing it consciously to the degree that is comfortable for them. The unconscious principles might be there because, like you said, according to some of these people, the fact that we don't rape every person we see means you kind of believe in God. That's what that means. You don't just not rape just for the sake of not raping. If you're not raping, that means you believe in God. Even if you're an atheist, then why are you not raping? If you're not raping, that means a little bit somewhere deep down in there you believe in God. So maybe that's what it is. Maybe the fact that we all behave and just be decent, we can say we don't believe it. But why would you behave and be decent if you didn't believe it? If there's no eternal punishment for your behavior, why don't you just kill your neighbors?
Yeah, it's all silly. I mean, it's just like when you get into the black conscious mythology, the black man is God and the white man is the devil. But goddamn, if God can't defeat the devil is just super strong. So the devil is hiding dinosaur bones to trick people. The devil is running the planet, and it's just like it's just a story to kind of make excuses. But really, there is wisdom to a lot of these ancient ideas and concepts,
yeah.
and it has led human consciousness. It has kind of been a light to guide us to where we got now. And really, if you get to the core of it, not raping is kind of evidence of God in that in that true worship of God is recognizing the God within all other human beings.
Right.
Like if you can't say you love God that you've never seen, but you can't love a human being that's a manifestation of God's consciousness. Like God's right here in physical flesh. Like as long as it's an abstraction, you're like, oh yeah, I love God. But fuck you, I can't stand you. I gotta kill you and take your shit. It's like if you're on that, then you've missed the whole point. So to some degree, like if you really get into the core of some of like the moral wisdom of those teachings, there is kind of an evidence of God's existence or your belief in God's existence when you acknowledge like the moral code that lets you see the God in other people and have a reverence and a respect for it.
No, I feel that for sure. It's definitely played a huge part on how people treat each other, how people deal with each other. And especially now, the further it goes, I think the better it gets because people kind of get pulled away from the wartime concepts and shit like that. Because I think there's really a time in human history where and you don't need a specific God for this. This is just something that comes with humans living on the planet with each other. Somebody's going to find a reason to find another group of people where they don't like what they do, they don't like their ritual, they don't like what color face paint they wear, and they're going to fucking kill them. They're going to take all this shit and they're going to kill them. And they're going to say, I read it in the chicken bones that I threw, or a moon whispered to me in a seashell, or, Yahweh told us that these motherfuckers over here don't keep the Sabbath, so we're going to go and kill them while they sleep. Humans just need any reason to take the responsibility off themselves to analyze and process their own actions. They're always going to put something outside of themselves to give them the cosign for it. And that's why you can't directly blame Christianity or Islam or something. It's just the common denominator of how humans use shit. It's just what they do. They do studies of how people play games, and how people will sacrifice other people in games for little to no gain. It's just a human trait. It's like, okay, this God, what kind of God is it? I don't. If God was speaking directly to people and it was objectively, you had the Bible being like some kind of, how they say the emerald tablets are locked in space. They can never be changed. You can't chip a piece off it because it's like some quantum physics shit. You just can't hurt it, can't burn it or nothing. If the book was like that in real life, if you could, like, everybody all over the world, you get a Christian Bible, you put it in the fireplace for a week, it don't burn, and it's all over YouTube, and people just like, I don't know, bro, Bibles don't burn. Then you could address that information with some type of supernatural shit. Other than that, it's kind of, I have to put it on the same tier as just about everything else, and just look at all the spiritual information coming from all these different people, take each one for what it is, and I could just be like, well, this book isn't really talking that much about rape.
I've probably had like one supernatural experience, and then everything else is just humans bullshit. Like,
yeah,
like
I've had some wild ass experiences, but I'm just talking about, if people are trying to say this is the direct, conversation from God to a human, and they wrote it down, and this is it. Yeah, the God, the person who, the being that created the entire universe, told me, and then I wrote it. What did he say? He said, "Pay your taxes." Like, oh, okay, all right, okay, I see what's happening.
And no butt stuff.
Yeah,
no butt stuff at the dog park.
If you eat a piece of bread,
I'm the king.
If you eat a piece of bread that belongs to the priest, you die. But if Satan exists for millions of years and leads hundreds of millions of people to hell, then that's just a little game we play. But don't
forget.
We let them hide dinosaur bones.
But don't let them. Don't wear mixed fabrics though, and don't work on Saturday or I'll kill you.
I'm murder you. Now I won't kill you. I'll have all of the town of the people you grew up with and shared meals with and have loved. They're all gonna have to kill you. Like, no one ever thinks about how traumatic that is for the village.
No, they're
like,
gonna do what I say.
Terry?
Yeah, that's
I
right.
love Terry.
Yeah.
Terry's one of my favorite people. He's picking up sticks on Saturday. He fell asleep Thursday. Didn't realize he woke up on Saturday. We gotta cave his head in with rocks.
Listen, and next Tuesday, I'm gonna need y'all to strap up and go across town, and I need y'all to spin a block on these dudes over here who not worshiping me the right way. You gonna kill everything. Look, they're filthy. They are untouchable. You kill everything when you get over there. You kill the cattle. You kill everything you see. You kill every woman who has had sex before. But if y'all want
I hear they're the descendants of cave fuckers.
Right.
Girls that fuck their dad in a cave. We gotta kill them. They descend from those people. I read it somewhere.
Now, if you want to,
it's in the tablets.
There might be a couple girls over there who were still virgins. So you can go ahead and keep those if you want. You know what I mean? But you ain't hear that from me. Look, it's too much human in all of it. There's too much. It's very short on existential mysticism. It's pretty thick on he hit his brother in the head with a rock because he was jealous. I get it.
The existential mysticism is in there, but it is couched in a lot of the human stuff. And again, I don't want to bash religious people because they've been taught to interpret everything that way. Like, it's not their fault.
This is a nice conversation.
I feel like some people would feel like offended or we're bashing them, and I really don't want to do that. It's really just to say institutions have made it more simple and less nuanced than it really is. And that's why people cling to these absurd notions that it's all completely from God. It's from God directly to humans. There might be an invisible, force of divine consciousness that's there that peered a little bit, that somebody got a glimpse of and jotted some shit down, and some of that wisdom came through. For sure.
Yeah.
There may be some of that.
You're going too deep. Let me tell you. All right. Fuck everything else. Fuck what you heard.
Fuck everything else. Okay, I'm with you so far.
If you feel like you don't want to rape, you believe in God, so you want to do righteousness. If you want to rape, you gotta keep reading. You gotta keep.
Wait a minute. Is it just that simple? Are rapists just illiterate? Is that the crux of the problem?
No. Rape is like the barometer for how much you believe in
You
God.
believe in God.
So no matter what alignments you have, no matter what you call yourself, an atheist or whatever, like, so how often do you rape? Never. You believe in God. You're religious, as far as I'm concerned.
Exactly. That's the start. It's a start.
That's a start.
I'm 47 years old. I've raped thrice. You're mostly a believer.
Yeah, you're mostly a believer, but you're backsliding. I'm gonna need you to do a couple Hail Marys. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna need you to make a sizable donation and
10%,
and stop raping, bro. Yeah, that seems to be the thing that's holding everybody. But look, anything that gets you to less rape, I'm gonna say that's a better deal for
Good.
The
humanity.
better world.
It's a better world. If it gets us to less rape, it's a better world. So if we need to print a few more Bibles, is there some kind of correlation between how many people? But they're raping in church too. Is that like how do we count those numbers?
Yeah. So about all the child rape in church.
Right. The people closest are okay. So are the child rapists in church? Are they like killer nurses? Are those people who just got specific jobs so they can exercise their sickness?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And I think we touched on this before. Always remember, Sinead O'Connor got canceled
Right.
for telling people the Pope was hiding rape.
Right.
We found out the Pope was hiding rape. She ripped up a picture of him on SNL. She got canceled. So this is how bad humans are at cancel culture.
Right.
You never cancel the right people. Right? So she got canceled when she told everybody the truth. No one's ever given that bald bitch an apology. Everyone should be calling Sinead
We still
O'Connor
think she's crazy to this day.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do people still think she's crazy?
Yeah, she's never been able to come back. She's never. Yeah, people still think she's
the
crazy.
white bald.
There's been mountains of evidence. There's been an epic run of
Doesn't
rape
matter. She's collateral
over
damage.
decades that she spoke out against.
This is
Collateral damage, bro.
Look, listen, this should be a lesson for humanity. Whenever somebody is allowed to be canceled, chances are they're being canceled by the rape cover-uppers. That's just how it is. Somebody took us to war for no reason. Somebody told us we had to get a vaccination that we didn't need. Somebody said some foul shit or is trying to cover up some foul shit. So they're canceling the people that are trying to tell us the truth. Nobody that's talking dumb shit ever gets canceled. Like that's really
true.
the barometer.
This is true. I told my homie this recently. He was sending me
Our libertarian friend?
No, this is the homie out in California. He sends me a lot of conspiracy theory memes and stuff like that. And this guy, he starts every video the same way. He's like, it's a British dude, and he's like, "Oh my days, we've got your ass now." And then he starts talking about, they found a 12-foot tall giant with red hair in Iraq. But, of course, it's all hearsay. And it's never like no real concrete, actionable ideas or nothing like that. Actually, it wasn't the Great Wall of China. It was the Great Wall of Tartaria. It belonged to a different country. It's like, okay, what the fuck are we talking about?
But how is that helping our compound? How is that helping relate to each other now to be less immersed in a rapacious and exploitative world?
It's not.
How is that getting us out?
It's not. It's a game. It's a rabbit hole game that people like to play together. But my point that I was making was, he talks about all of this stuff, but then he also believes that real information is being suppressed and people are not talking about the truth and COVID, like whatever it is. It's not necessarily about the pandemic, but just all kinds of shit that they won't talk about. They don't want you to know, and all of this shit. But if it's a evil group that don't want you to know all of this stuff, why are they letting this guy on TikTok tell you about the giant they found in fucking Iraq? Like, why is this crazy ass information that most people in that circle would call you a sheep or a robot for doubting? Like, if you don't just believe it, like, oh, I told you there's been giants here forever, they're fallen angels. If you don't go in that rabbit hole like that head first, they think you're the sheep, you don't believe anything, you're skeptical about everything. But you also believe that there's a shadowy cabal hiding all the information. So how are you getting all the secret documents and shit like that you absolutely believe this was a leak? I got it. It was a leak. But they won't tell you. They don't want you to know about this. Like, what are we talking about? It's like you playing tennis against yourself on both sides of the net. You're just keeping the game going.
And this is why I had to get involved with cult building. I'm a race trader. I've betrayed my race. I can't subscribe to any movement, religion, political philosophy, because everybody gets this tribalistic angle where you got to abandon some factual shit. Everybody wants you to abandon something. Like they want you to abandon an aspect of your consciousness, an aspect of your intellect, and an aspect of your moral compass just for the sake of going along with that agenda. And that's when I realized, look, I love all of you. I can't fuck with none of you. I can't subscribe to any of your shit. I can indulge it here and there. I can build with you on it here and there. But what you're trying to build with this information, I just don't see it. I don't see it as being effectual. Like, there's all kinds of people banning about all kinds of ideas. But when you really get down to it, it's like, okay, so what are we going to do with that information? How is that going to change the way that we live? How is that going to change the way we relate to one another? How we relate to money? How we relate to resources? How we relate to political machines and governments? Like, how is that changing our day-to-day lives and getting rid of the dysfunction within ourselves and that we pour out on each other? Like, if there's no program to pragmatically resolve these problems, we're just jerking each other off with rhetoric. That's all it is. It's just rhetorical jerks. That's what a lot of this shit is. It is. It's just like, well, I got some new secret information. I got some even more super secret information.
Sit on your hand and you rub on it. It feels better.
So, it
Those
is.
are the secret texts.
It's dude.
It's just it bugs me out.
That's why I love Dave Chappelle, man. I'm a conspiracy theorist to a T.
No, I love it. But see, that's the thing is also, I think with the internet and TikTok and all these short form videos and all this kind of stuff, it makes you feel like you're doing research. You could dive into a lot of shit. People pack so much shit in a little video. Like listen, we come from this. Like, we were printing stuff out back in the day. Printing out pages.
It's the same.
It's
the same thing.
And we were holding it. We were reading it. We were getting books, reading Dr. York shit and all of this stuff. Yeah. We were deep into all of these wild ass ideas, and then eventually you get to a place where, like you said, practicality. What is the practicality of this? What am I really learning? How am I applying it? What is it changing? Other than my ability to argue with somebody and make them look stupid because I'm talking about some shit that they never heard of.
A fucking alcoholic drunk who beats my wife every day, but man, I know all.
I know a lot about ancient Sumeria.
Let me tell you, brother, about Isaiah.
You don't know how to translate cuneiform. You don't know about the Rosetta Stone.
About them forbidden books, nigga.
You can't read Coptic.
Y'all over here arguing about football and shit like that. What you know about these tablets, son? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like that's the type of shit
football for nerds.
On. Right.
Football for moral nerds.
That's the type of shit we was on. So
you're fucking like raping 30 kids a night. Like, fuck out of here.
So at this stage now, it's really difficult for me to find stuff that make me want to dive into it if it doesn't have a practical application. If it's not about I have my subjects and shit that I just like to, play my games with. It may not have any direct application to the way that I live my life the next day, but I might watch a fucking 40-minute video about the double slit experiment and quantum erasure theory or some shit like that. I just think it's amazing and some cool shit how some of the smartest humans on the planet are doing experiments every single day that behave in the craziest, unbelievable ways, and they can't understand it. And all they do every day is keep redoing it and looking at it and like, what the fuck? That's all they can do. They find more ways to try to make, and it's just still like the shit knows when I'm looking at it. And that's something I can let my brain kind of wander with a little bit. Maybe it's not about whether or not ancient Egyptians were aliens or if they could come back to life or if they had a time machine and shit like that. That kind of shit is just like, all right, I get it. It's cool. But if you want to dive in, just dive in. I'm just not going with you. That's not the hole that I want to get lost in. Maybe ancient Egyptians had a time machine. I don't know.
And I want to better myself.
They might have. And if they did, guess what? If I find out today,
I don't want to jerk off to foot porn as much.
We
all have personal goals.
Yeah, everybody has that. That's what it is. The brothel. It's the brothel of the mind. I have to use my brothel in the way that's best for me. And yeah, that shit. Some of that shit's just not in there. I don't have a room for that in my mental brothel. So I have to enjoy it the best way I know how. But I love it though. I love
I
seeing
will
the
I
flood
will
of
say this though.
information.
And I will say this though. It's all a circle. The reason I say it's all a
Yep.
circle, it's all indoctrinated, unfortunately. So I don't watch sports. I love to play sports, but I don't watch sports. Like it's just it gets too deep. I don't care about who's who, who's what, if you want me to be honest. Like if I'm in a room full of guys and they start talking sports, I just repeat what my brother said and I keep it moving just to move time on. I don't have time to explain to you why I don't care for sports.
I'll just
But
leave.
like
I'll leave the
I
room.
just, but I'll just say it and then just walk away. Just like, okay, yeah, he's a man. Like I don't have time to like negotiate or tell you how much of a black person or a man. Like I just don't have time for all that. But like it's crazy because like I'm breaking the circle because like my kid, I don't have no sports. I don't put it on TV. It's basically like anime and cartoons with my kids because that's what I watch all day long. I can't put the news on because it'll drive my son crazy. Like he takes it too serious. Like it goes too deep for him, and I'm like, it's not that deep, but it's a different story.
I'm
But
pretty
like,
sure. I'm pretty sure that makes you beta. If you just watch an anime, that's beta, bro.
I
That's
could
beta.
care. At
Super
some point,
beta.
I'll stab you in the neck when you're not looking and fuck you away. But anyway, so
Now
like
that's alpha. That would be alpha.
so my kids are telling me how like they're telling me like they're coming home from school because you know how American elementary school do in sports season and all that. So like, oh, these kids they like sports and it's annoying because they sit there they talk about it and I'm like, well, it's because I don't watch it on TV, so you guys don't really know what's really going on, so you can't pretend to other kids about what's
It's
going
just an
on.
aggressive religion.
Yeah,
That's all sports is. It's just aggressive. If you take religion and just give them a ball and a bunch of strong dudes, that's pretty much any sport you can think of. That's all it is. You might that's a good league. Like why is there no religious league? Why is there no religious sports league? Why can't I see Southern Baptist Christians play football against Jehovah's Witnesses?
that's how you know whose God is real.
Yeah, whoever wins
Every
the Super
Damn,
Bowl.
I think you created just a whole new way for them to fill the pews. You know what I like doing because I don't give a fuck about
That's how we
sports
should
either.
name our sport teams, different religions. That's what we get away with all the like the stigmas, like the Navajo Indians.
No,
Like it's
just
not
religion.
racist, just religion
Dude,
names.
the North Carolina Methodists,
Yeah, because then sport
the
has a point.
the Dearborn Jihadists. Yeah, that'd be great.
Sport has a point for him. It's like we can't let these jihadists win every year.
Yo,
Now you said you like to repeat what your brother tells you to get in the football conversation because it is one of those things where it's the most common denominator for penis people with
Bro,
penises.
I'm
get
a
in a room.
quiet, I'm a quiet person, right? I'm a quiet person. So like when I have to engage in the world, I'm quiet. But I'll talk if I have to. But if I don't, I don't. You don't like if you say, "Hey, how you doing?" I'm doing fine, and then I walk away. Right? I'm not gonna engage in a conversation.
Damn, that's
Like,
it's
and it's not me being mean. It's just this is how I am. Like I have to
no.
know you. What's your intention? Who are you?
I
Like,
get what you're saying, but I want to share with you my technique for getting out of the sports talk. So when anybody brings up the bread and circus and shit, I don't know what's going on. What I like to do when they're talking about it, like to say, "Oh yeah, so and so's got he ran for like 400 years," and I'll be like, "Yeah, he's got a great bod, right? That guy is in shape. Like he's a nice looking man, right? Am I right?"
That's another reason why, because it's like these are the more over aggressive like
That is
man
amazing.
conversations.
They will
But it's
never
like,
talk to you about sports again. It's
Yeah,
become my
that's
favorite
why I
thing to
stopped
do.
watching
Like I'll be
WWF when I was a
Dude,
kid. Like I'm tired of watching these grown men in underwears and tights. It's getting old.
No, I
It's
just
not-
I just lean right into it. I just lean right into it. So like if I'm at a party or I'm at a doctor's office or whatever, where I'm sitting around people talking about sports and they rope me into the conversation, I just make them all feel comfortable because I just make it about how great shape they're in,
That's
how
amazing.
how their muscles glisten and their
Amazing.
pants are so tight and just like, yeah, he's a really nice looking man, isn't he? I mean, he's a hottie. How many push-ups you think he can do? He's Ripley, isn't he?
And that's
Like, dude.
basically what sports nerds are looking into. Like that's That's the reality.
Right.
Well, you know, I mean, they get these are the guys who were non-violent. They didn't want to go to jail technically, so they just
No,
decided,
those are the athletes, but I'm talking about the nerds who like ESPN.
Oh, right.
Is it? But isn't it kind of cuckery? Because being a cuck is someone else is putting in the work and you're just watching.
And they're analyzing
it.
Yeah, holy shit.
Right. So it's like, damn,
he
should
have caught that.
Really good.
He should have caught that. He got to catch that, man. He can't. He could have took that hit better.
Yeah. Dude, he could have rubbed her clit. He's not even rubbing her clit. He's kind of he don't even got her leg behind her head.
Come on, if I was
he ain't doing it right. Right. It's really if you watch sports, it's kind of cuckery. It's cucky.
Yeah,
no,
sports is cucky.
I think it's a little cucky.
It's only if.
It's only fun to play. Like when it gets to all the techniques,
right? Just like fucking is only fun to fuck. It's not fun to watch somebody else fuck. And you shouldn't get paid to fuck.
Yeah, see,
it should just be something you do for your health and happiness.
It's just making more and more sense. So sports is basically porn. It's porn. All right, so it's settled. Sports is porn. All right. Also, I think it's only cuckery.
The stigmas.
Watching sports is only cuckery if you know the athletes and you have favorites and shit like that. If you just watch like, oh, the green team's fighting the yellow team, if that's how you watch it, that's fine. But if you're like, oh, my 49ers going against the Colts, I hate the Colts.
Yep.
Then it's cuckery.
The only time I watch sports is in the finals. I don't care about like what's the point of like watching the expedition? I want to see the best.
Dude, when you're like yellow team versus green team, or watch it, that's like your dude shows you a picture of some chick on Instagram, like, dude, she got a fat ass, right? Like, yeah, she got a fat ass.
Cool.
If you're watching and keeping up with all the stats and you're painting your face in, you're in a basement jerking off to 5 different screens with a fleshlight. With clotheslines on your nipples.
Watching college ball.
Right.
Watching college football.
There's degrees of it.
5 screens
if you know
college football.
It's like they're not even getting paid. Like this is some weird. This is like jerking off to porn in public. Like you're on the in a nondescript place, like on a bus or the train, and you're just beating it in public. That's watching college ball.
Watching college ball is like all the porn they removed from Pornhub.
You in the college ball?
They not even getting paid. I'm not even sure this is legal. What are you watching, bro? Nah, it's the college ball, bro. That's some next level shit. Nah, I love it. This is it. Sports is entered into the compendium as legitimate porn. That's what sports are.
It's cuckery, dude. We got to the bottom of it. We extracted the value of religion. We put everyone on notice not to run afoul of Jay Prince.
Stay away from Jay Prince.
And we've uncovered the truth that sports worship it's a form of cuckery.
Yeah, deeply,
It's
which
the
is
Lord's
just a
work.
runoff of another of religion and its control and how we were civilized from wolves to dogs. It makes a little bit too much sense. This one definitely is going into this. Almost could get a book by itself. If you just write a book called "We Used to Be Wolves."
When we were wolves.
When we were wolves. Yeah, right. It'll be like some absurdist literature. When we were wolves, about how we've been neutered down into a society that's so it made us softer, definitely, which is what everybody's complaining about. They just don't completely understand what they're asking us to go back towards. Like, if you don't like this, if you don't want this person in the St. Patrick's Day parade, then that means we're going the other way. And the other way is back to hitting people over the head and dragging them into a cave. And it's closer than you think. It's not like that. It might have been 1,000 years ago, but it won't take 1,000 years to get back there for sure. All you got to do is close the Walmarts for like a week. If the Walmart's closed for like a week, nobody got no power, the gas station's closed, oh yeah, it's going down. It's not going to take years. It's not going to take 6 months for people to devolve into chaos. Nope. Yep, your neighbor's going to try to rape your wife day 11. after Walmart's been closed. Trust me.
According to the zombie apocalypse, it's instant. Blink of an eye.
Yeah, because humans they're too spoiled. They're too chill. I want my Starbucks, bro. It's not like, oh, we've been starving as the world was over 5 years ago, and this is the bad times. It's like, no, Starbucks has been closed for a week. I'm busting some heads. Fuck that. It's going down early, in my opinion. That's what I think. Which is just all the more reason to buy your own land and start a cult. Make your own fucking coffee. Don't be out there in the world when the apocalypse happens, because. Not the apocalypse. I'm making fun of the whole shit hitting the fan thing, but humans are just getting more and more irate every day.
Out of control.
Out of control. People fucking each other up for no
and they're
reason.
taking drugs like they've never taken them before.
Yeah. A lot of drugs, a lot of illicit material online to gorge yourself on. A lot of extreme opinions. A lot of shit that can back people psychologically into a corner. And not even like the real I'm not even talking about the real crazy ones like fucking mass shooters and shit like that. Just the amount of people who are willing to like run you over with their car at a almost accident road rage incident, or just like just anything. People are just poised and ready to get it cracking at the drop of a hat because people are suffering. They're not in cults. They're living in HOAs. Cults that they didn't even agree to the laws on, and then they're complaining about it and starting beefs, and people are following each other around, taking pictures of dog shit. And like, just imagine going through all. Just imagine having $1,000 phone to take pictures of dog shit, so you can blame it on people in the HOA Facebook page.
Beat her ass, Rachel.
I know whose dog shit this is, but just all of that shit. The people are suffering big time,
Violent cul-de-sacs.
Yeah, very violent cul-de-sacs. People getting hit with bats and shit. Oh, wait a minute. Before we go, I want to see if anybody's mad about this. Where is it at? Okay. I got to find the girls. There's some girls who did...
Ladies.
Yeah, they did some... I hope I didn't close it. They did some blackface. Oh, here it is. Yeah, they did. Okay, so they did some blackface, and people are saying that it's pretty racist. And there's also a news report about it and a protest. This is some white girls who go to a Catholic school in Philadelphia, and this is what they're doing with their time.
You're a black girl. You know your roots. It's February.
Your mom is never letting anyone in.
You're nothing but a slave.
So first and foremost,
normal childhood behavior.
Right? These are all
normal childhood behavior.
These are
Isn't that
all,
what March Torre say? Normal.
Yeah, this
childhood
is just
behavior.
kids doing dumb stuff.
Kids doing dumb stuff.
So
that's how Doobie sees
but
it.
these are all white girls. There are no people of color or colored people in this situation. She's spraying. I'm pretty sure that they're just bullying this one girl. And the way they're bullying her, I'm not sure. Maybe there's some kind of makeup that you can spray on like that that's really easy to wash off. But it kind of almost looks like spray paint to me. And she's just spray painting this girl's head and calling her racial slurs. But they're all white, though. She don't look like she's having a lot of fun. And they're killing themselves. They're choking to death.
Yeah, they're definitely killing themselves.
They're not that smart at all.
They're all slowly getting cancer.
Look at her face, though. Like, that's real. Look at her. What is that? What do you think that is? The only reason I said it is I don't think
it's... Toxic Avenger bitch said I'm black and I'm proud.
Yo, the only reason I'm saying I don't think it's spray paint because it looks like some kind of matte, like a powdery kind of finish. I have no clue what that is, but I'm not upset yet though. So I'm upset that they're bullying this girl. She don't look like she's having that much fun.
No, she's in on it. She said I'm black and I'm proud.
Yeah, she said I'm black.
She's trying to fit in. She's trying to fit in.
I got the power to say nigga.
Holy shit.
All right, now
she didn't say it with a hard R.
No.
That was Rogan with the soft R. That was a soft landing on that Rogan.
That's soft. All right, now I want to get into a little bit of this. So I'm not going to preface this with too much. I'm gonna just let it ride.
Coffee and other news this evening is taking action after a racist video was posted to social media involving students at St. Hubert Catholic School. The Archdiocese says the students allegedly involved have been disciplined. The video has sparked outrage in the community. CBS News Philadelphia reporter Ryan Hughes is in Holmesburg.
And they do not do anything for moving kids today.
parents and community activists protesting outside St. Peter Catholic High School for
Like
Girls
5 people
Wednesday,
out there.
with signs
One-
saying
there's like
no
6,
more
maybe
racism
8.
and hate hurts as outrage
Nobody
in the
really
got
community
nothing
grows.
to do.
I felt outraged,
Nobody really cares.
Wait, check it.
and I felt like I was hurt for the first time.
I just
My dude got the
thought when I
blonde
saw
hair,
the
by the
video
way.
that it was
He
complete
felt hurt.
ignorance.
The Archdiocese of Philadelphia
Your hat is complete ignorance.
Bro.
And you live in Philadelphia. That can't be the first time you've ever been hurt if you live in Philadelphia. Stop it.
says this video was made by 3 students outside of school and posted to social media.
This
We're blurring
hilarious
the video.
video.
Did they
because it
blur
involves
this? Why is this
juveniles,
blurred?
but
'Cause
it
they're
appears to
juveniles.
show
See
a
her.
student spray painting another student's face black.
But
If you
she's
hear
playing
girls laughing
blackface. You don't
and saying
recognize
you're
her.
a black girl. Know
This
your
is
roots,
superfluous.
and you're nothing
That's
more
what
than
I'm
a
saying.
slave.
What do we want? Justice! And when do we want it? Now!
Here goes the good
Adam
part.
McNeil, who organized the protest, says an apology
did.
from the
He has his
Archdiocese
LLC and
is
everything.
not enough.
You suck at
We want
protest.
them
Take your Nazi
charged.
shirt off.
This
Bro,
is a
hold on.
no.
You listen to
We
what he
want
said.
them charged. This is a hate crime. This is ethnic intimidation.
In a new
Bro, he said it's a hate crime. Who is the
He's
victim?
smiling.
Who's the victim in this hate crime?
Listen, he learned from Black Lives Matter. It's a beneficial business. You know, he's gonna
And
pick
the
and choose.
LGBTQ.
Yeah.
All that. It's,
You know,
it's-
shout out to the OGs. What's his name with the sweatsuit? Got in trouble with the feds.
Al Sharpton.
Al Sharpton. Shout out to the OGs.
Moving them birds.
You know what
Moving
I'm
them
saying?
birds and telling the cops. I like
You know
Al
what I'm
Sharpton
saying?
because he snitched.
I just want to know who the victim is. Who he said I want them charged. What would you possibly
the
charge
crime?
them with? What,
I can't say.
they were all white. And they sprayed a white girl's face black. So how I'm just trying to understand.
And it's clearly they're giggling. It's
Oh, yeah,
clearly
underneath.
comedic.
Yes.
They
yes.
they clearly
Kids being
understand that what they're doing is absurd. It's offensive.
Right.
It's over the top.
In Philly.
Nobody. It's not like a 9-year-old girl was bludgeoned repeatedly on a bus.
Right,
it's not
right.
like it was that bad.
No, yeah, because that's just kids doing dumb stuff. When a 9-year-old girl gets punched 146 times by somebody who's double her size and weight, that's just kids doing dumb stuff. But this right here, this is true pain. This is a hate crime.
How was it? She said, "This is for the first time I felt pain." This bitch said.
Yeah.
How? Who? Listen. How?
In Philadelphia.
How does
Born and
this
raised.
dude take credit for this? How is he not embarrassed? I organized this 5-person protest. Like, you're bad at your fucking job. You suck at rabble rousing and inciting outrage, because you had this this
He couldn't
horrible
even get
thing.
the Muslims together out there. That's Philadelphia. You couldn't even
Dude,
get the Muslims out there.
He failed. I would not have put my hand up and been like, I organized this pathetic showing. Like, he should have stayed quiet. I
This
wouldn't
is
have taken
amazing.
credit for that. That was a
Absolutely
shit
amazing.
protest.
Statement released Wednesday afternoon, the Archdiocese says, "We recognize and understand that the actions of these students have reopened societal wounds in a deeply painful
Oh,
way.
you raped children.
Those allegedly
That's
Child
what I'm like.
rapists.
I
I'm
guess I like
saying
to get out of my
moralize
head. I'm like,
you
what
get
about the rape children?
You're an organization that's built on decades of child rape cover-ups. You're gonna talk about moralizing anything? You can just shut the fuck up. You should say, listen, we want to correct her, but we got about 8 decades of child rape.
If anything, this helps better. Keep black facing, because the child rape is hard to cover up. It's really hard to cover up. That was the speech.
Wow.
Responsible are not present in school and are being disciplined appropriately. Now, the Philadelphia branch of the NAACP says it's drafting a letter urging the school to increase education on Black history as the
Why?
community tries to heal.
These young girls saying that this was done as a joke or in jest or whatever, well, it's not funny when it comes to the Black community.
The Archdiocese of Philadelphia says it will continue
thought
to
it was
work with the
hilarious, but I'm sorry.
Anti-Defamation League for
Yeah, I think I'm.
I just own blackness, but it's okay.
You own blackness, so you thought it was funny?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna give her.
It's funny.
She don't get a full infraction for saying for speaking wrong for the black community, but we are gonna issue her a warning. She gets a warning.
Yeah, we'll give her a warning.
Yeah, you need to check the bylaws. Everything is updated. All you got to do if you have any questions about what is or isn't blackness, what is or isn't accepted by the black community,
hit me up on Twitter.
Holler at them, and we'll let you know. Quick, too. Quick and easy.
For intensive programming and resources on racial healing. In Holmesburg, Ryan Hughes,
Racial
CBS
healing.
News, Philadelphia.
So just real quick, one more time on that. I'll just
You're a black girl. You know
look
your
at them,
roots.
man.
It's February.
This is how they play.
Your mom is never letting anyone in.
It's February.
At least one of them knew this was bad.
And they're all
One of
recorded.
them.
Yeah, one of them leaked it. She wasn't happy.
Yeah.
Takes this shit, bro.
You heard her? She said she just takes this shit. So yeah, this is definitely her friend getting bullied.
So help me out here. Help me understand. So their response was, "That's great." Oh lordy! Listen. So the response is, they need more education.
Yeah.
Okay. So if we teach them about Mansa Musa and Benjamin Banneker and George Washington Carver and Kwame Ture, now they
professional. They'll date
I'm-
basketball players. That's all.
they'll be
Education.
Kardashians. I'm
Yes.
pretty sure
Yes.
that they're aware of Black History because they're aware of Black History Month, and that's the joke. They're
Right.
joking. I guarantee you, if you go in there and push it more, I don't think you understand how kids work. I don't think you understand how rebellion works.
It's gonna be
The
worse.
more you make this shit forbidden,
You'll have Nazis.
it's gonna get even worse. And just the feigning that, like, look, if this is as bad as racism if this is racism, if this is on par, if this is the equivalent of Jim Crow, of lynching, of redlining, if this is all it is now, hey guys, high five. We won. Racism is over. There's no more racism in America. If the worst thing we have is Matt Walsh saying animals and girls, white girls, just frolicking, spray painting each other. I mean, if they started kissing each other, it would have started to get hot. That was so innocent. They're just spray painting each other and giggling. If that's the height of racism, we've won. Pack it in. We won. It's over. The dragon is slain.
How many
There's
niggas
no
is
need for
taking
anything
change of life
anymore.
bulb, guys?
How about she was
5.
spray painting her friend's face and making fun of her, and she said, "You're a black girl," and she said,
You're a
nothing but
slave. You'll only be a slave.
Yeah, she said, but she said you're a black girl. She didn't say you're a nigger. That would have that would
yeah.
have had such a nice ring to it in that moment. You know, you showing off in front of your friends, even if you don't normally say it. That would have been a perfect time to fire it off. But she said you're a
didn't.
black girl. That was her natural way of like even okay. She was definitely spray painting her friend's face black. I'll give you that one.
Definitely.
There's no way around it. No ifs, ands, or buts.
Yeah, I'll give
It
you
is
that
February.
She spray painted
But-
that bitch black.
How would if y'all protested that? Imagine if it would have been like them spray painting their black friend's face black. That would have been a little worse. But it was another white girl they were torturing.
15 more people at the protest.
Right, at least. But if they're
At least.
so you got 2 white girls torturing another white girl, and other white girls recording it. Who's the victim?
And it got released.
Yeah, and it got released from. It was an inside job. Who's the victim? Where's the racism though? I mean, I get blackface. That's like an untouchable. I don't really agree with that. I think Doobie.
I enjoy a good minstrel show. I just throw that out there.
Well, look,
Throw that out.
There's a lot of things this minstrel shows that don't include actual blackface, but I think blackface, it just doesn't bother me enough to make me want to, feel anything in my personal existence about it. Like when I see a person in blackface, I don't get disheartened or nothing. I'm sorry, I don't feel anything.
It shows me the area and the time. Oh, that's how they move in that area.
Or whatever. Even in real life,
Philly's still a piece of shit place.
Even in real life, people don't want confrontation for the most part. People do stupid shit. They never really want to deal with any negative consequences about it. I have to think this is the same thing. One time, I was out and I saw a guy wearing a Rasta hat. It was a white dude wearing a Rasta hat with fake dreadlocks coming out from under it. And he was like dancing around through the club. And at the time I had dreads. And he kind of spun around and he stopped and he looked at me and we just locked eyes. And you could tell he just wanted to be like, I'm so sorry, this is stupid. I don't know why I wore this thing. He had it all over his face. In that moment, he was like, this hat is so dumb. But right before that, he was having a great night. And that right there lets me know he didn't wear this like, oh, I hope a black guy gets mad and starts a fight. And
he thought it was funny.
Moment, he was like, damn, this isn't even funny anymore. It almost ruined it. But I didn't say anything. I didn't milk it. But I see blackface the same way. If somebody wore blackface and was on the street and you turned the corner and it was like some dudes that looked like they came out of a DMX video, you think he would be like, yeah, nigga, I'm wearing your face. He would be like, oh, I'm dead. I'm going to die right now. That's not what they want. It's a goofball move. And I'm not going to get all fucking heartbroken over some stupid shit. I just don't care about blackface. I'm sorry.
Only Canadians.
Does that get me a blackness infraction? Do I get an infraction for not caring about blackface?
Not under new blackness, because blackness is undergoing a renaissance and a rebranding.
Right.
Like you wouldn't believe. It's getting its priorities. It's getting its shit together.
Good.
Blackness is on the move.
Good. It's upwardly mobile. Moving on up. Fish don't fry in the kitchen. You know what I'm saying?
Ain't worried about that.
No, I get it. I love it. I absolutely love it. But I'm not doing it. I'm not playing that game. I love these dog gods. Mid-Journey never fails. It never lets us down. It gives us the. This is something that I think is going to be useful, because we definitely need a triune representation of dog gods for something. I don't know exactly what for, but we definitely need them for something. That's a little bit too good to let drop off into the void.
Listen, they're holding up their human master. No, what are they holding up there on that card?
It should just be like a picture of like a human man. That's the guy.
Yeah, just the Vitruvian man on there. They're just like the sitter of the couch.
This is how dogs see the world. The man just is like, here's a bone. That's how dogs see the world, just like that.
Thou shalt stay the fuck off the couch. Thou shalt not shit on the floor.
Food just comes in ball and water.
Thou shalt not bite children. You got to keep that one in there. If the commandment's in there, that means somebody did it before, so you got to put it in there. Don't
chop
bite
my balls
the children.
Off. That's how I know in the family.
Right, and then the names of God, like God will provide us, like He who provides the treats.
It's real.
They'll have all these special names.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love sitters of the couch.
Sitters of the couch. Couch sitters.
That's
sacred
a good one.
Couch sitters.
The sacred couch sitters. We can only do it when they're not looking. For now, anyway, because I think they're starting to learn our ways and our patterns. They found a way to watch us even when we're not here.
I don't know how they're doing it. I don't know how I'm hearing a voice when there's no body around, but there's something supernatural going on. Because somehow they know.
Oh, dude, I love it. But yeah, man, I'm going to wrap it up for the evening and grab me some spaghetti.
Yes, sir.
That's what I'm doing with my evening. Watch some bullshit on TV and fall asleep.
Sounds amazing.
Yeah,
you deserve the respite for you doing the Lord's work.
Absolutely. We got to rest well. I definitely appreciate you brothers making time this evening. And
shout out to the watchers, the chat. Please like, subscribe, pass it around.
Absolutely. Everybody appreciate y'all tuning in to listen. Tell Devon we said what up. I see one of his videos got sniped immediately, like right after he put it up. He made a video about the video that nobody's supposed to talk about.
Man, just subscribe to Censor TV and give that dude money.
Yeah, seriously.
Just give that dude, fuck YouTube. YouTube is always gonna wipe shit out. There's not even a point of putting shit on there. Like they don't there's not gonna ever be any honest dialogue in the foreseeable future on YouTube. It's just because it's not even worth trying.
At some point at your popularity, it's a guy behind a desk judging.
Oh yeah, but they know about him. They're looking for him.
Oh yeah.
They're waiting until
especially
he gets
if you're talking about something spicy. If you're talking about anything, and what I'm noticing is probably the major issue is talking about these grander scale things. If he just, I think he could probably escape the algorithm if he modeled himself as a life coach and just talk individually about personal shit. Maybe that would work better. But when you start talking about these larger social issues, and yeah, there's a side of this conversation that they don't want a lot of people talking about in specific ways. And
it's the dog's afraid to sit on the bed.
That's true.
That's how YouTube is training us.
Yeah.
Nope, don't jump on the couch, bro. You're supposed to sleep on it. You're lucky to even be here. You're lucky to be indoors with
the house,
food.
right?
Like, yeah, like so now don't push it and try to get on the couch. Like, yeah, but there's a guy on the couch. He's wearing high heels and a beard. That's not your business.
That's intersectionality. He's supposed to be there.
Right.
That's for him.
How come he gets
or for
to sit
her?
on the
That's
couch?
not for you.
How come this kid just punched this little girl 150 times? How come he gets to sit on the couch?
That's not wrong. You're engaging in wrong thing.
That's his angel.
He has generational trauma. He's suffering from the decades and decades of white supremacy. So he had to beat that 9-year-old. So, and the fact that you don't know that suggests that you might be a bigot.
It's just you don't believe in God. That's it. Listen,
right.
David ate the sacred bread. I didn't kill him. It's different. It's different. Different rules. It's religion. It's all religion and training. Yeah, we're being trained on what to think and what to feel comfortable discussing. YouTube is training us with punitive repercussions.
There's ways around it. Just talk about building your own cult. Just frame everything in the ideology of not, which is why I titled this "Give Them the Rope." Let them have the rope, right? If we really think that the people we disagree with are on the highway to hell, if we think they're on a roller coaster and it came apart up the road and the roller coaster is going to fly off the rails and destroy them all, let them have the rope that they need to hang themselves. Stop going out and clashing with them. Stop trying to fight them. You can farm them for content, but don't take it seriously. It's like they drove off a cliff and they're going to learn from their own actions, or the world's going to change dramatically. And we'll just be the old people who be like, I remember when men had penises.
And now they're just penis people. Birthing people and penis people.
Right. So the world might just change dramatically, and we could be them old dudes stuck in the past and crying about how people used to look at each other, and now everything's on the cell phones and shit. Like, who knows? We could be those people.
1990s was a special time.
You know those weirdos. Those neo-Amish people growing their own food up in the mountains.
Right.
They don't believe in the birthing people and the penis people. They still use antiquated, bigoted terms like man and woman and child, when we know everyone should be able to fuck everyone. They're cave people. They're cave people.
But what they don't do is get on YouTube and talk shit about it. That's what they don't do.
Right.
They mind their business. They build their barns by hand and probably beat their wives. But allegedly, who knows? But that's their business because they're not on YouTube complaining about the rest of the world. They found the rabbit hole good enough to stay.
The neo-Amish have to be on YouTube in a way, though.
That's different because those are the ones that got like the reality shows and shit like that, right?
Yeah.
On the Learning Channel that don't teach you shit.
Do you remember when the Learning Channel first came out? There was documentaries.
Yeah.
There was actually the Learning Channel used to be the shit. I don't know because I stopped
about like nature and all. Like I remember, They used
to have some great fucking. The History Channel too used to have some great fucking documentaries, and I guess nobody gave a fuck. And I stopped watching TV for a couple years, and I come back. And the Learning Channel has nothing to do with learning anything.
It's all
the History Channel is talking about aliens.
1,000-pound sisters.
It's all reality TV.
And 1,000-pound sisters and ancient aliens. That's all you get.
Yeah, that's all you get. See, I don't watch TV no more. It's done. Like I give my kids shows to watch. I'm like, watch this. I used to watch this in the 90s. They like it. They don't, and they just pick. I can't. Like you can't escape commercials. Unfortunately, like you can't escape advertisement. But like I don't subscribe to TV anymore like I used to. Yeah. It's not the same.
Fuck TV.
Either for that shit. Bread and circuses, bro. Bread and circuses. It's okay to tune in, but just know what you're doing. Just understand. This is going to the circus. And if that's what you want to do for now, completely accept it. Just don't get lost in that shit.
Fair.
Yeah, man. Yeah, y'all enjoy the rest of the evening, brothers, and I'm sure we'll be talking again soon. I'll check y'all out later, man.
Always a pleasure, gentlemen. Peace.
Peace.
Metaphysics is going to have to be the quote-unquote religion of tomorrow. If it isn't, you're fucked. Totally and absolutely.